Hey everybody, and welcome to All Bronze. No, let me start again because the first thing I say to be
There it is.
Hey everybody, and welcome to All Bronze. No, ladies, this is. Excuse me, calm down. Hey everybody, and welcome to All Bronze No Brains, the podcast where two big boy Belfast besties dive deep into the drama and demons of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I'm Tony, your resident buff, and I've seen every episode more than David's had hot dinners.
And I'm David, the Buffy newbie, coming in fresh, confused, and emotionally unprepared. Today we've got not one, not two, but three unreal guests, the fiercest trio since Destiny's Child. It's the podcasting sisters of Becoming Buffy.
Wow, that was quite an intro.
These girls know their Buffy lore, so please join us in giving them a warm welcome to the show.
Hey girls,
We're so
what's happening?
excited. Thanks for having us.
It is so nerve-wracking having you here, so class. Thank you so much for putting the pressure on. Cheers.
Wait, are we your guys' first guest? Like with you guys together?
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
Wow.
You are indeed.
Yes, you are. You are stealing our little guest virginity together. This is the first time me and Tony have done this together. I'm only joking.
Yeah.
I've had lots of guests, but not several at the same time.
So, okay.
On the podcast.
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant in.
Really
in my-
dirty.
That was back when it was up the buff, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Rebranding.
We're cool. We're
Yeah.
nice now. We're good. We don't be crude.
Well, we had Tony over on Becoming Buffy like a month
And that's
or
why
two
we
ago.
changed our name.
And yeah, it was back when it was up the buff. But the funny thing is, we're so ahead that this episode's going to come out before that one will, which is just really funny. Yeah, Tony just likes to hear himself talk. He's sitting there like,
How dare you? But do you guys also want to introduce yourselves? Like, tell us your name and where you are and your favorite snack food.
I'm Sarah. I'm in my bedroom in Ohio. And my favorite snack food, banana. That sounds so boring.
Sarah freaking loves bananas.
I know. I'm so sorry.
No, Sarah loves bananas.
That is not a snack.
No, Sarah goes crazy for a banana.
That's like a cure for cramps.
I'm Tabby. I'm the middle child. I am in Southern California. Lee and I live in the same area. I'm also in my bedroom. And I'm not a snack person. I'm a beverage girly. So I just love me. I'm always sipping something. Like right now I have my water, but usually I'll have like a coffee, my hydro flask, and then halfway through the day I get like an Arizona or something from the gas station.
Oh,
I just
yeah.
love
Arizona.
beverages.
There's a small coffee shop called Arizona Coffee Shop. And it's like,
Nice.
That's where our teacher used to take us to break down and tell us her husband was cheating on her.
so this actually happened to us. Genuinely. Yes, that's such a good point, Tony. We were in Arizona Coffee Shop. So it was near our school. And our teacher was having a mentee B. And her husband, apparently, who was another teacher in the school, had slept with one of the other teachers in the school.
So she was telling you tea about another teacher?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't a
Crazy.
student. Like, gotta
Students
tie
call
back to this episode.
Love
Dude,
it.
I have something crazy too that happened to me. I went to Disneyland with two of my teachers and a couple of my friends, and it was I think it was like something for our class or something, but it was like only select people wanted to go. And at that Disneyland trip, one of the teachers told me that she was secretly dating a former student.
Was that the girl that
And
went?
I was like sitting there and I was like, and she's like, does that make me like a terrible teacher? Like all this stuff. I was like sitting there and I was like,
Yes.
I was like,
Yeah.
I was
And a
like,
criminal.
no, it's okay.
Wait, Leah, was that the girl we were talking about the other day?
I don't
Was
remember.
that who that was?
No.
the one that.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is a
No.
separate teacher.
This is a
There were
different teacher.
multiple teachers at our high
So
school.
at
that
least
did
in
stuff like
her
that.
in her
my
defense,
gosh.
he was he was legal by the time they started talking. They didn't start talking until she was.
Yeah, but when
Still
did they
weird.
start
Still
talking?
weird.
No,
When did they
no, no,
begin?
no.
Was he 11 years old when they began talking? Because by the time you get
No,
to 18, you're like, you
17.
know what? Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
she taught high school. So she had him for like a year and then he graduated and then they started
Still
talking like
weird.
a year after he graduated. I'm not saying it's not weird. Okay. I'm just
So-
saying.
My wife is a teacher, And if she was sitting here right now, she'd be like, "That's fucking weird."
Yeah.
At
No,
no
it is.
point,
It is.
because I think at any point, even after the child is at school, I still think teachers treat you like you were, because you still will say
Yes.
hi, miss, or hi, sir. I don't know
Yeah.
whatever salutation
Yeah.
you use for teachers, but we say miss or sir.
Yeah.
And I've
Yeah.
bumped into teachers and I still say, "Well, miss, how are you?" Because I don't know their name,
Yeah.
so I just gonna
Yeah.
have to
As it
refer to
should
the
be.
old.
Mhm.
Yeah, as it
Yeah.
No,
should be.
I agree. I mean, I work with kids, and some of the first kids that I worked with have already graduated high school, and
And
I
you're
like
like-
will see them on social media or
Yeah.
something. Yeah, I'm like fresh out of it. Yes. No,
You're
that's
fresh out
disgusting.
of school. Mm.
No, oh my god, no. I like look at them and
That's
I'm like,
gross,
oh, they
Leah.
still. That's still. You made it first. I look at them. I'm like, oh, they're still like a kid. Like I'm like, oh, that's like my kid.
And it's weird when they start getting to an age where some of them will try to follow me on Instagram, and I'm private, and I'm like, declined. I'm like, you're not following me on Instagram. That makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Damn no.
I love when teachers trauma dump.
Tony, you've been so quiet.
He's
I'm-
trying not to poop.
I'm
Yeah.
listening.
He's clenching his butthole. He's like,
holding it in.
No, I was just listening to the responses to the question that I asked our guests.
Oh, Leah, what is
He's
your
all
favorite?
professional
oh,
right now.
sorry.
Leah, what's your favorite beverage or?
My name is Leah. I'm a Leo. I was born in
So
August.
am I.
I'm the youngest. You didn't choose to say that though. I am in my game room.
Yeah, she's out of her bed for this recording, you guys.
Yeah, guys.
Thank you so much.
I actually put on a bra for this.
This is how it
Crazy.
normally is when we're recording with Leah. You just see her. You just see this
Oh my
right
god.
there, and then her mic's all the way away from here, like this. That's how it normally is.
Mhm. So I'm really in true form.
Yeah, Tony's
Yeah.
been there. He's seen it.
My favorite
it.
snack. It honestly changes depending on my hyperfixation. But I really, really like my go-to, like, oh my gosh, like sweet treat in the house is always Reese's Puffs.
Reese's
What's
Puffs?
that?
It's a cereal that's like it's
Oh,
it's probably
yeah.
banned for you guys, truthfully, because it has too much sugar in it. Yeah. I don't eat it with milk. I literally put it in a mug and I just eat it.
Oh, nice.
So
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't like milk.
Cheers.
I don't like textures. Contrary to Sarah, I hate soggy things. So I literally can't eat milk anymore. Like it grosses me
milk.
out.
Eat milk.
Eat milk, cereal, any of it. Like I can only have cereal by itself.
See,
like,
I
not
love
with
soggy things. I like waiting for my cereal to go soggy so it's easier to eat. Otherwise, I'm like,
That's-
what's the
oh
point
my
of putting
God.
milk in it?
Did you used to heat up your cornflakes, Tony?
Oh, yeah. I also would eat corn.
Oh my god, no, that is foul.
Warm cornflakes sounds vile.
I'd also eat cereal with water.
Tony's
No.
constitution is you don't really get grossed out by stuff. Where I
Honestly, good
just-
for you. If you like it.
I can't even. It's actually so bad. I can't. It's like hard for me to even wash dishes that have like sat
Mhm.
in water for a long time and the food is soggy.
It makes
like,
me gag.
It literally triggers
Yeah.
my gag reflex.
Is it because of your intrusive thoughts? Do you think of it? So my problem is if I do that, I don't mind, but like I'll get a thought where I'm like, imagine I just put all this soggy food right into my mouth.
Yes,
And then that's-
yes, yes. Oh my
Yeah.
god, yes. I'm like sitting here and I'm like, what if I had to eat this? What if I had to
Yeah.
eat this? And then I can like, I swear I can feel it in
Yeah.
my throat. Like I can feel how.
I've
it would
never
ta-
thought that before ever in my life.
Can I double check the language thing? I'm a real swearer.
Oh, you're good. Go for it.
You can swear. We don't care.
Oh no, wait, okay.
I feel so bad because we recorded last night. We recorded Touched. And so we were talking at one point and it was, I'm not going to give spoilers, but it was a moment where we disagreed. Leah thought one thing, me and Tabby thought another. And
Oh,
at
yeah,
one
they
point,
literally called me stupid.
no,
No,
that is
I did
not what we
not. That was
said.
not me.
At one point, I was saying, oh, the difference between me watching, and Leah didn't hear me say me. I was saying the difference between like me watching the show as a fan and vibe and like living for the vibes of the episode versus me watching with an analytical perspective.
No. Let me
And
put
so
it exactly
I-
how she said it. She goes, yeah, well, that's the difference between watching the show for vibes and watching it for to be analytical.
And Leah thought I meant, well, you're not analyzing it, you're only vibing, so therefore you're
And
wrong.
I was like sitting there and I was
Oh.
like in my mind, because like
you're stupid.
I'm very bad about like very much like if something happens, like jumping on it and being like, well, okay, like going in. So I was like trying to be like, okay, how do I like put this like nicely on
How
the
do I say
podcast
that you
so
hurt my feelings?
Yeah, and
You're
so I
a
was like this
bitch.
close to no, it's like this close to being like, Sarah, that's like really mean. Like, but I think in the podcast I ended up being like, well, I don't know if I would really say it that way. Like,
But
it's
she
just
was
kind
like
of-
super hurt. And then she said it. And then Tabby was like, we meant us, not you. And she goes, oh. And I was like, yeah, I meant the difference between me watching it, not you. And she thought we were like, well, we're watching it critically and you're not. Like,
Yeah.
I was
it
like,
sounded so
oh my-
mean.
Oh my god! Like, ew.
I love the idea though that A, you're right, Leah is only watching it for the vibes, but she's pretending like she isn't. And B, she's raging you called her out on it on the podcast, and she's like, and she only got defensive because you're right. Because it happens all the time, and Tony calls me out and shit, and I'm like, actually, a fine ticket, and I'm like, nah, you're right, you called me, you called me out. That's fine. I know my role. I know my role in this.
I will always own the fact that like I don't put in as much work as Sarah does. Like I'm definitely the person who like I watch the episode and I come into the episode with my opinions. So I'm not sitting here being like I am the one with all the knowledge. But I do
Neither am
think that
I.
I am able to No, I know.
But I am.
But the thing is that
I have such a superiority complex about my inferiority.
Inferiority complex.
I'm
That's a
Buffy.
Buffy joke, David. You probably wouldn't get it because you don't watch it analytically.
No, but that's because me and Leah are all about vibes. We're all the vibes.
Yeah.
We bring the party. You're Sarah, Tony. Your podcast would be shit if it wasn't for me and Leah.
Sarah, would it be really annoying if David turns himself down a wee bit? I'm not even saying
Oh,
that as
no.
a joke. I realize it sounds like a
Yeah,
joke.
no, he totally can.
It's just it's just
He's
so
like,
much
keep
louder
turning it
than
down.
every. Yeah.
He's like, keep turning it down. Keep turning it down.
It's not going to mess things up if he turns it down. It's
Is there
fine.
like a wee microphone button with a line through it? Yeah, there we go. That's perfect.
Yeah.
I love though that you guys were like really hurt by like this like slight subtle dig of like maybe you're Tony just comes in and calls me a fat bitch, and it's like, hang on a second, like you're like having these wee subtle things, but although that wouldn't be the thing that me and you would we would clash over.
I think it's just different because it's like I don't like if someone comes in and tells me like, oh my god, you look ugly or fat or whatever, I'd be like, okay, whatever.
I'd cry.
I work with kids, like I get told
Yeah.
I'm pregnant and ugly all the time, like it's fine. But
You need a new job.
You know?
no, they're amazing. I actually love it. It's so funny. They're just kids, like they say things how they are, and sometimes they say things because they know it's outlandish, and so they kind of
Just
like
for a
to, like,
reaction. Yeah.
they like to be little butt, whatever.
Bombastic.
My people. Yeah, they're my people. But I completely forgot what I was gonna say, so we can move on.
You were saying
Perfect.
that with siblings, with sisters, it's different.
Oh,
like you would get
it
a
is
lot.
different
Yeah.
because the thing is too is it's like it's not like she was saying like, oh, like Leah, you're stupid, you're annoying, to where I could like combat it. It's very like subtle and
passive
sneaky of being
aggressive.
like, yes,
Yeah.
passive aggressive. Like
Mhm.
when someone's passive aggressive, it's you have to find a way to like call them out on it without seeming like you are
'Cause they'll gaslight you.
Because you'll gaslight you. So
Yeah.
not that Sarah would.
We have trauma.
Yeah, we have trauma. So when someone's like passive aggressive, like I have to find a way to be passively aggressive, like bringing it up and being like, oh, well,
Mhm.
I probably wouldn't have worded it that way. I probably would have worded it.
I just go like, what do you mean by that?
If I'm in person, I'm going to be like, damn, that's rude. But like,
That's an interesting opinion to have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Why would you say that?
Strange you felt comfortable saying that.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
that's a good one. I like
Yeah.
that one.
Or
That's
that's
good.
odd that you felt comfortable saying that out loud. You know?
Yeah.
Stuff
Do you
like
want to
that.
explain that joke? I don't get it.
oh, wow, you're so good for putting up with that. I could not do that.
Oh, that's good.
But then that makes them feel bad, though.
We're like aggressive, and there's no passive really about it.
Anytime if we ever get any wee issues, we've found it's taken a few podcasts. Like it's just why we can record quicker. I think if either of us are a bit pissed off at each other because maybe we went a bit far or said something that maybe we didn't
Yeah.
mean, we usually are very quick to be like, we need to stop. I'm a bit annoyed,
Yeah.
and I can't because we can tell in each other's faces that we're
Yes.
like
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
taking it a bit thick because it's like going to we're like,
I look like this.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then my happy face.
Yeah. His
yeah.
constipated face.
Yeah, he wishes.
I do wish.
He wishes.
Sorry,
he
I
got
meant
to
the
I need something up
opposite.
my butt.
Anyway, sorry, Sarah, you were saying.
I was going to say, do you guys find, because you've known each other for so long, that you know how to push each other's buttons in a way that most people don't? And so there's like we have this sense of familiarity with each other because we love each other, but we tend to say things and do things that we would never do to anybody else. And there's both pros and cons to that because there's a
Yeah.
closeness, but then it's also we know how to like wound each other too.
Mm.
You know?
I think we definitely do know those boundaries, but one thing that I'm and this is just for me, you can say if this is wrong, David, that we've been so good at doing, especially the last year, is purposely trying to not do that to each other, because
Hmm.
we're just trying to
Yeah.
be like better people.
I think as well. Like I think it's, um, we are our relationship before even the podcast, even before last year, because a lot of things changed around this time last year that started the podcast for me and Tony.
Mhm.
But beforehand, our relationship would have been very much like that dry queenie slagging, like putting each other down for the entertainment of the crowd. So we're like a two piece
Mm.
almost. So it'd be, but
Yeah.
then it got to the point where like you start believing the things that the other person's
Mhm.
saying, and then it got to that little. And I think we decided last year we're going to be nice to each other. We like genuinely we're like we're going to inundate each other with love and nice words,
Mm.
because like it, and then you start believing it, and then it's also
Mhm.
I'm a bit of a comedy fan, and I kind of wish I was a comedian. So like I like thinking,
You
right,
are.
how can we thank you, how can we be funny without
Your life
being
is a
mean?
joke.
He's like, we can be funny without being mean, and Tony's like, your life is a joke.
Leah's like,
Ah, that was a good one.
No, I think we just were like, yeah, I just think we could be clever. I'd like, because Tony, I think
Mhm.
Tony is so funny. So I think like his wit and his sharp mind, I'd like seeing
Mhm.
what he can. And then sometimes it's really bad because we can predict what each other are going to say sometimes. So I know I can say something, I might get a response from Tony. And if I don't
yeah,
get that response but get something different, it really kills me. Really makes me laugh.
Mhm.
But we're very careful not to, because I
Yeah.
think when you're siblings, unfortunately, there's nothing you can do. The genetics has forced you to stay that you are bonded for absolute life, as Tony and I are as well. But I think when you
Yeah.
aren't siblings, there's that little bit of boundary that you need to make sure exists,
Yeah.
so you don't
trauma bonded.
absolutely ruin each other's fucking days by being really mean.
Yeah. I don't know that we like do it intentionally. It's a lot of just unintentional stuff. Like we'll
course.
say
Yeah,
things because we're so comfortable with each other. And
Mm.
then it's all of a sudden like, ooh, okay, I was not thinking about what I was saying. And also we trigger each other because we have the same triggers because of our parents and stuff. So
Yeah, I think
yeah.
there's just like there's less filters that go through your brain when you're communicating with your siblings, and so you can unintentionally, I'll speak for myself, I can unintentionally be a lot more blunt, and like, and it'll come across a way that I'm not meaning it to, but it's just because I'm not going through the normal filters in my brain when speaking to anyone
yeah,
else. Because I'm like, oh,
Mm.
they'll be fine, they'll get it. And then sometimes I'm like, oh, that's not how that came
Yeah.
out. That's not how I thought
Do,
it in my head, you know?
do you think that's why people love the podcast? Because then they get to come into your world. Do you know, like, I love going into
Yeah.
people's houses and their family house,
Mhm.
especially if it's a big crazy Irish house or a big crazy house.
and stealing stuff.
That, yeah, stealing stuff, taking their food.
Mhm.
I just love seeing how all the dynamics work. Do you know, like, how Tony, when you used to come to my house, and like I would be one way in school and be one way with Tony, but as soon as I get into the house, I am the youngest child again.
Mm-hmm.
My sister can kick the shit out of me again. My dad's really
You
funny
definitely
and
look like
shy.
you have an older sister. And it
Oh
makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense.
definitely. That's why I'm digging. Me and Lee have got those baby
Yeah.
baby vibes. That's it.
Solidarity
We're
right there.
survivors. We're survivors.
Yeah, that's it. We're the wee
Oh
Peter
my gosh.
Pans.
Leah was the one walking around bullying most of us.
Yep. So it's always gonna stay with us.
Oh, brother.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that's a thing. I get a lot of people being like, I feel like talking to you guys, or like hearing you guys talk, it makes me feel like I'm there in a conversation. And a lot of people say, we're talking along with you. Like we respond to what you say
Oh,
and go
that's so
back and
nice.
forth. And yeah, which is
Truthfully,
really cool.
I forget that like
Mhm.
this airs.
No, for
Like,
real.
Mhm.
So a lot of the times, like in my mind, I'm like, oh, it's just me, Tabby, and Sarah, like just kind of talking about Buffy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like on TikTok or whatever, and I'll see a video, and I'm like, oh my god, that's my voice. Like, wait, what? And I like kind of tweak out. I don't know why people listen to us. I think it's mainly for Sarah, if I'm being honest, because I know it's not for me.
That's
Same.
not true.
I don't know. I mean, I like it. It's cool. Like that's cool that people like us, but also sometimes I'm like, wait, like why? Like
Get a
People are
life.
like, we love the vibes
it's
one.
like
Yeah,
We're not gonna be
it's
bad.
so
like,
true.
what's that
It
one?
was
What's that
funny
one?
because initially when we first were releasing it, we had a different platform, and you could see what the top searches were to find your podcast, and it was always Leah Becoming Buffy podcast.
So to my
Congrats.
fans, I'd like to say thank you.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
I
Sorry.
accept cash, checks, and gift cards.
Coffee.
So
Yeah, Dave has
Coffee.
or Tony has his brand deal over here.
yeah,
Yeah, his
You know,
alcohol that his fans
Arizona.
send him that we still have not received.
Yeah, how come I'm not getting alcohol? What the
Which
heck,
I guess
guys?
we haven't released that episode yet. So
Sorry, can I
Yeah.
just say I'm on the podcast with Tony and I don't get any fucking alcohol. I have to
also
buy
got-
my own wine.
I also got free glasses. I got free
Harry
prescription
Potter.
glasses.
Nice.
You look like Harry Potter.
But yeah, so after that lovely little therapy debrief session we had, this is episode 31 of All Bronze No Brains, and we are focusing on season 2, episode 19, I Only Have Eyes for You, which was written by Marty Noxon.
I think this was the first, like what we deemed at the time, good Marty Noxon episode. But it's really funny having watched season 6 and 7 now because she's the showrunner and kind of
Yeah.
seeing her fingerprints all over. And also, it's Leah's op over there.
I
She
hate Marty
hates Marty
Noxon.
Noxon.
Oh,
And
It's like a
really?
people hate me for
long-standing
it.
joke on our podcast.
Yeah, I like
Oh,
just I
really?
yeah. You'll notice it later, but like she just is like she's just low key a freak. Like not in like a fun way. Like she just always be writing stuff that I'm like, go to therapy. Like
Yeah.
She writes her own trauma.
She's always conflating violence inside of her
Mhm,
sex. There's a
mhm.
lot of sexual violence stuff.
yes, yes. And it's always about sex. And it pisses me off because I feel like, especially around Buffy, the show gets so weird about Buffy's sex life. Like the writers just are so weird about it. And it's always like freaking Marty Noxon and Joss Whedon who are like,
And there's always something with a gun. Like there's
Yeah,
always something
bro.
with a gun.
Yeah. She was definitely...
Yeah.
no, I'm not going
she's
to say
definitely
what
got a
it is.
kink about a gun or something.
I've never seen Tony censor himself before. This is so good.
I am slightly nervous because I get to cut out all of our like misogynistic jokes normally, or although I think I made a lot when we were on last time
They're not
because the whole
jokes,
like
Oh, you
I thought
totally
they were
did, and
just
I left them
opinions.
all on. I left them
But
all on.
the
He's
whole
like, Dave's like, wait, we weren't joking.
Dave, you'll
no,
have to
joke.
listen
What part
to
of it
when The
was a
Killer in Me
joke?
comes out. Oh, I guess that would be a spoiler. You can't listen to it because it's like so far
no,
in the
he
future.
kind
worry
of
about
knows.
it.
He's seen
I
stuff on and
have
off.
seen.
and-
I have been friends with Tony so long that like I have. He made me watch the Buffy episodes when they came out.
because I used to stay in David's house every Friday, and Buffy was on a Friday night on cable TV, and David had cable
Aw.
because
Yeah,
his
we
family
had,
were like
uh,
fake rich. They had an island in their kitchen.
No, my family.
No, it's always the
No,
island.
No,
it's always the island, bro. That'll give you away
Mhm.
every time.
Only in Sunnydale High would school spirit mean actual spirits. Give it up for my scripted line that I thought was great.
Well done there.
that was very good. Very good.
Buffy's touched on a lot of like dark subject matters that we've seen so far. David has obviously yet to get to season 6, so he's in for a real treat.
Mm-hmm.
But this episode actually came with a recorded PSA for teen violence and suicide, and the voiceover was provided by our Sarah. Not our
Sarah,
Sarah,
did you do the?
but
Oh right.
but our
Sarah
other
was
Sarah.
there.
Lizzie, yes.
Oh, right,
Mhm.
okay.
I was 7 at the time.
No, I did listen to your episode as well in preparation for this, so I got some good little facts from there too.
Was it good?
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been like 4 years. So
I mean, 2 of you sounded so intellectual, and the other one was just like
Vibes,
vibing.
vibes.
I get that a lot.
This is Sarah Michelle Gellar. Tonight's episode touched on a serious subject, teen suicide. If you or someone you know needs someone to talk to, call the Cedars-Sinai Medical Center's teen line, where trained counselors are available 24 hours a day. For a list of local crisis centers, you can access the AAS on the internet.
Sarah, you do this part, you know it.
Really? You want me to do it?
Yeah, go for it. If you remember the fact.
Yeah, I have it right here.
She always
go
does.
for
Of course.
Yeah.
She's like, let me dig out all of my notes.
She's like, I thought you'd never ask.
Just put
She's
a little
like
big
correcting him
binder.
as we go through. She's
Yeah.
like, no, actually,
She's
that
like,
wasn't the
oh,
person
thank
who
God.
wrote that."
I was waiting for this.
I have it color coded. Let me pull up my pink slip. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Pull out your pink what?
Do you remember? No. I don't know if you, when you were listening to the podcast, if you heard that they actually wrote the song after when this flashback was supposed to have happened. So like the flashback was supposed to happen in 1955, but the song wasn't written in 1959. So it like doesn't even make sense in context
Yeah.
with the episode.
That annoys me so much. It's
Yeah,
like a
right?
very simple researching.
Right? Why didn't you just set it in it's because they didn't want to set it in 1960 probably, because then it changes
Yeah.
the vibes.
Yeah,
But
you're getting
Well, what my kind of fun fact was about this song, obviously I like this song because I like this kind of genre of music, but do you remember that singer Eamon who had that song "Fuck It, I Don't Want You Back"?
Yes, and then there was the response that his
Yes,
ex-girlfriend
by
wrote to him.
Frankie.
Frankie, yes.
Fuck you right back. His second single was called "Love Them Hoes," and this song was a sample in it, and that's what I.
I love them
that's
hoes, love
Hoes,
them
love them
hoes, love them
hoes, love them
hoes.
hoes.
I love them hoes, love them hoes, love them hoes. I love them. I can't see anyone but you.
We're talking about you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love those hoes.
So we open up at the Bronx, where we see posters for the Sadie Hawkins dance. Who is Sadie Hawkins?
I know. I want to know the history with that.
I have no idea. I just know that Sadie Hawkins is like a dance. It's like homecoming or prom.
Because it mirrors the gender swap that we have between James and Buffy and Angel and Grace. So it's kind of like
Yeah.
a little
Mhm.
nod to that.
Oh, you're so good, Sarah. You're
I
so
know,
good.
I,
Look at you.
I
with your
had
little
to I had
nerdy.
to
So
up you
good.
because I knew you're gonna get it first. So I'd be like, hey.
That's so good.
Oh, see, I was going to say no shit. That's obviously what the episode's about. Duh.
Sadie Hawkins Day is an American cultural event where women traditionally invite men to dance or date. It originated from the comic strip Little Abner.
Damn, I
Okay.
kind of thought it was like a real girl, and I thought she was like the first feminist ever, you know? And so I'm a little sad.
The band are called Splendid, and they're playing a track called Charge, and it's on the official Buffy soundtrack.
The way love. Have you got a name for it?
I loved listening to that soundtrack too when I was like a wee emo teenager. It was just
Aww.
so good.
Lots of very typical couples dancing. Did you know this? So in TV shows, when you see people dancing on a dance floor, there is zero music playing.
Yeah.
It's
That's
just
all I
silent.
can think.
Mhm.
Whenever I see people dancing, that's all I can think about.
All I can think about is the sound of their feet. You know that sound of like the scratching and like this,
Yeah.
you know, like the shuffling of feet, like and like the.
I like those videos where it's like music videos, but without the music, and you hear all the scuffing. And like,
Yeah.
We see a lot of very typical couples dancing on a dance floor. Willow's just whirling away on the dance floor, which I love. Free spirited people like Willow. And then we get the camera pans up to Buffy, who's looking phenomenal. And that's a really, not that I would ever
Yeah.
comment on an outfit.
Her makeup and hair are so pretty.
Her makeup in this whole episode.
Mhm.
Season 2 is one of her peak. Like, she just looks so good in season 2.
She has that thing. She has that young face where it's like
Yeah.
nothing is blemished. It's called good genetics.
I don't know if I'll be here for when this outfit pops up, but one of my favorite Buffy
brown
outfits
one?
ever is the brown.
yeah, the brown cord dress.
Oh yeah, that one with the
Yes.
boots.
With the
That
It's
one's
slit.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
one of my favorite Buffy
Yeah.
episodes ever. And she also, I love blondes in brown outfits. I think it's so stunning.
Am I right? Lesbian!
This episode is very earth toned for like a lot of the characters.
Yes.
That's something I
Yeah.
kind of noticed, and I don't know if that was intentional to like draw you into like the.
Well, I
The
think
kind
it
of earthy-
contrasted the 50s because if you'll notice, Grace's outfit is very blue and very bright in contrast to everybody else's. And so I think there was supposed to be a style, her makeup too. Buffy's makeup is very natural versus Grace's, it like she had the bright lipstick and everything. And I wonder if it was to make a contrast between the past and the present.
Yeah, so pretty much what Sarah's saying is you're wrong. It's
It's
not about that at all.
You're not
Well.
thinking about it critically, is what she's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on,
You're
guys.
just vibing.
You're too
essentially.
vibey. You're bringing
Yeah.
too much
Yeah.
vibe.
Yeah.
You
Less
gotta use
vibe,
your brain.
more mind.
Yeah.
Love it.
Not as vibey as Buffy's first pair of leather pants that she has on in this scene.
Oh,
This is-
I love her in
iconic.
leather.
Oh, yeah.
She
Yeah.
looks so good in a leather
Gold.
pant.
These
They
are
look
like
good.
gold leather as well. Totally into it.
That's a bold statement.
At which point we get Ben, one of Buffy's classmates, approaching her, fishing for her to ask him out. As we have the Sadie Hawkins. I keep going to say Sally Hawkins. Who's Sally? She's an actress. Never mind.
Oh, she is, but I'm thinking of Sally's, the hairdressing shop.
Sally Henson.
Oh yeah, Sally Beauty.
Yeah.
Sally just feels like such an Irish name.
It's your aunt. Your aunt's called Sally.
I know it's because of my aunt Sally. Yeah. So yeah, as we were saying before, the City Hawkins dances where a girl will ask a guy out to go to the dance. Ask the guy to go to the dance, not the guy out. Sorry,
Are you okay,
the
David?
guy out. No, I was reading.
The Sally Hawkins dance where the girl boy asks the woman. Man.
He can't like
Allegedly.
compute women being the ones to ask. It's like hard.
No,
for him.
it doesn't make sense to me. I'm like, what?
Feels wrong.
No, I don't want to have the reputation for being a chauvinist.
Oh, well, it's too late for that.
I was looking at Ben and I was like, for context, we're in season 7, and I was like, Ben seems like such a green flag compared to so many people that were like, honestly, I was like, he took no for an answer. He didn't judge her, he didn't make fun of her, and he walked away. I was like, he's already
Bare
like
minimum.
1,000 times better than so many
Yeah.
other people.
Buffy says that she's never dating anyone ever again after the absolute shit show that was Angel.
Good.
She's so
don't.
me. She's so dramatic.
Question for you Americans though, because I just wanted to ask, do all American teenagers look like they're in their 30s, and can you prove it with your yearbook pictures?
In television, yes. In real life, no.
It honestly depends, because I will say in American high school, like
Sometimes you'll see one with a beard.
especially public school.
Yeah.
Well, no, there's not a lot of like dress code or anything, so
Yeah.
like they can wear whatever they want essentially. Like obviously there is within reason, but a lot of times it's like they can wear stuff that like could necessarily make them look older, and a lot of times like they can have more makeup and like things like that. So I do think sometimes high schoolers do look older, but they don't look like they're in their 30s. Like they look like maybe 21.
Yeah.
And this is the thing that I find really strange with this is going to be a cultural country thing. When we go to high school, we are aged 11 and we are in that school until we're 18.
Oh.
So you spend 7 years in the
Holy
same
crap.
school with the same people. So you go through
Dang.
puberty with the same people.
Ooh,
So
that's
I
a
always found it
lot.
really weird that you have separate schools for different,
Mhm.
like you go to
Junior
whatever,
high.
middle school,
You have
junior
middle
high,
school,
middle
junior
school.
high, and then high school.
Yeah, I
Oh.
prefer like the
Right.
split, because then I feel like it's helpful for your brain to be like, okay, like I went through my middle school, like
Yeah.
changing bodies, changing everything, and then you move into high school, and it's a little bit more
Well,
like
but
big
also
kid.
like at least I can't speak for other states, but at least in California, it's like it's so congested in so many places that like you can't have one school house that many kids. It's
Mm.
easier to split it up and have like a middle school that houses this amount of kids, and then a high school, and then an elementary school, because otherwise it's like you don't have the facilities for that many people, that many kids.
Fair.
Well, our high school that we went to was only in its second year of existing when we went, so there was
Nice.
only
1 year
like
above us.
100 students, and
Mm.
it got like bigger each year, so it was really nice. Like the school didn't feel ever like that busy. By the time we were leaving, that was the only time it kind of felt.
Yeah, we were the
Like
first
it
sort
would've
of
been busy.
older ones because there was
Okay.
there wasn't any to believe.
Yeah.
That's why I always found it really strange that like why there was no. I know it sounds, but to use the word prepubescent, but like how if I
I
go
hate
if
that
I
word. I
I
hate
know,
that word so much.
I know, but it means it
yeah.
conveys exactly what I'm trying to say. So I always found it
Yeah.
really weird. And in high school, American high schools, there was no everyone was bearded and had gone through puberty and stuff. And I was like, but where's the kids? I don't understand.
Yeah,
Where's the young
no.
children? I mean, I didn't realize these. Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. Good to know.
Well, good to know that that's what David thinks when he goes to schools. He's like, "Where's the kids?"
Where are the kids? That's the first thing I ask when I go
Where are
into
the
schools.
youths?
Willow notices Buffy reject Ben and tells Buffy to start dating, stop thinking, and be impulsive. And I love this line that Buffy says when she's like,
Do you remember my ex-boyfriend, the vampire? I slept with him, he lost his soul. Now my boyfriend's gone forever, and the demon that wears his face is killing my friends. The next impulsive decision I make will involve my choice of dentures.
I can't dick about my phone when I watch Buffy because I miss
That's
stuff.
good.
There's actually quite a lot of subtle things
Yeah.
in Buffy that I've noticed.
not to
Because-
contradict you, but you have definitely said a few times, "Oh, I must have missed that because I was on my phone."
Well, yeah, obviously I'm not. I'm a fucking human being.
So you're a liar.
And yeah, I'm a liar.
Okay.
Of course, I'm a liar. I've given you so many compliments. So Willow said,
Fuck you.
I like that this is also kind of a callback to what Buffy said to Willow in The Harvest, where she says, seize the day. So it's kind of Willow taking that back to Buffy and being like, hey, you should seize the day, you know?
Holy shit, Sarah! What are you fucking an encyclopedia
Sarah just
of
like pulls all this out. I just can't.
Welcome to our world.
But Willow has also recently already said this to Buffy when she's like, not carp, carpe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yes,
phases.
that's it. That's
Like,
right.
get a new line, Marty Noxon. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
stop
agree.
ripping
Yeah,
up Joss.
yeah.
Leah's like, I am on this hate wagon.
Yeah, stupid Marty. Just
We like Marty.
give it a few seasons.
Well, we can tell when
Yeah.
Marty's written an episode because the period jokes are smarter.
That is true.
Xander's like more tolerable in her episodes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that is actually true. She also writes just really good, like, heartbreaking dialogue. Like, her Buffy and Angel scenes are always, like, really, really good and full of
Yeah.
pain.
Yes. But I didn't really buy it in this episode. But yes,
Shut up, David. I'm not joking.
this episode I didn't really dig.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Controversial.
But this is what happens because last time you came in and I was all like, you were like, this is a bit of a shit episode. I'm like, I love this episode. It's really cool. Then there's times like,
That's literally me and Sarah.
Yeah,
really mean,
it's so
Sarah.
true. We never vibe, ever.
Literally, the last episode we did in season 7, I was like, I really liked this episode. Like, it was
And she's
so
like, no, we're going to fight.
and Sarah goes, yeah, but like from a
Analytical
show, like an
perspective.
analytical
Yeah.
perspective. It's
The
not
juxtaposition, the parallels.
But I have a soft spot for this episode. Obviously, I am not co-signing and on board with like a teacher-student relationship, but they use this as a way to kind of bring in the Buffy and Angel dynamic, and like really just kind of get Buffy to feel all of her feelings, and it's just very well written.
that's a really good point. And I've actually going to change my mind and say I actually quite like this episode.
That was fast.
This happens all the time.
Oh, because that one thing.
Yeah, you changed my mind because I forgot about the ending. I forgot how good. I did not expect that end. Sorry, Tony. I didn't expect
okay.
that ending to come up the way it did. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, and the whole poltergeist situation too, where like
Yes,
the
yeah.
ghost can't leave; it's in this purgatory, and like having to relive like
Yeah.
the trauma. I think is really
Yes.
intelligent. I love when shows and movies do that. I'm a sucker for like gothic romance sort of stuff too. So
Yeah.
like this episode
Yeah.
it fits that for me.
It's like Wuthering Heights in a high school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wuthering Heights is a good way to put it.
Because obviously we look at the teacher student and be like, oh, that's so wrong. But then we're not saying anything about Buffy and Angel. And there's literally like hundreds of years between them. So I love that it's kind of, I think that goes over a lot of people's head.
It's an interesting dialogue too, Will, because like with Sarah and I were just talking about this before we started the podcast, but like it's unfortunately something that happens in vampire lore and in vampire shows and TV shows. It comes with the territory. Is like one person who's the vampire is always going to be way older, and for some
Yeah.
reason the person they date is always in high school. Just that's just how it happens. Not saying it should be, but that's just how it is. And
Because it's a commentary on adolescence. There always has to be a choice. That's the whole Twilight.
yeah, there's always
Like,
a
yeah,
metaphor. I mean,
love
especially
triangle.
since we just watched Interview with the Vampire, and there's a whole metaphor with just aging and like adolescence,
Mhm.
and like that's the
The
whole
series
point
or the
of
film?
Vamp. We watched the movie. Yeah.
Oh, it's a
film,
good
yeah.
film.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The
And
TV
so
show is a million times
I've
better.
I've heard
Oh,
the TV
really?
show is really good. Yeah. But like it's supposed to be a whole commentary on like aging and adolescence and all that sort of stuff. So it's supposed to be used as that, but also in the lore of Buffy as well. Angel's supposed to be stuck in the mindset of when he was sired. So it's like it's a bit different, but also it's not supposed to be an exact replica. They're just using it in a way to kind of get us to a certain emotional place.
This is like the smartest podcast that we've had. This is that was all so
We're the only
articulate.
podcast you've had on, so
And like
it's not
no,
saying
but I
much.
mean like this is going to be the smartest podcast that we've put out. That was so well.
Wow, I never get compliments from my intellect. It's always Sarah.
See, if I had have just said, oh, the exact same thing, David would have been like, didn't think that.
Is that tea?
Yes, well, Willow says, okay, the Angel thing went badly, which is a bit of understatement of the year.
Feels a wee bit dicky for Willow to be like, you should like move on because it's only been a few months and Angel's literally just killed Jenny. And when Willow's like, love isn't always like that. And I'm like, oh, right, because you've been going out with a werewolf for 5 minutes, you're suddenly the expert in love.
And here's what you guys will come to realize: Buffy's friends. I
Leah's a little sore.
just not the best at understanding her situation. they a lot of times will see her situation and think it somehow relates to them. And they're like, well, this is kind of like what I had to deal with by getting over Xander. Hey, it's not the same. Not the same. Like, it's just like they're really bad about putting themselves in Buffy's shoes. Like, they always are pushing her to like do stuff that it's like, if you guys were in her position, Buffy would not push you.
We would
to
never
do
hear the end
this.
of it too. Sorry.
Yeah.
And Tony, you probably heard this when you were listening to our episode, but this has stuck with me. Tabby talking about this moment on that episode where she was talking about how this was kind of one of the first times where you start to see that Willow really struggles when other people are uncomfortable or they're in pain or they're like not getting over things. She doesn't like that. She doesn't like uncomfortableness. And so she tends to try to like maneuver it so that they move past it, like her giving the rose quartz to Giles and stuff, which is very sweet, but there's almost this sense of like she's a fixer, so she's trying to come in and fix things, but there's also a controlling aspect to it that we see like continuing on through the show. And when Tabby had mentioned that, it was like kind of clicked for me, because it was like, yes, Willow does care so much, so deeply, but there's also this level of like, hey, can you get over it because your feelings are making me uncomfortable?
Oh my
kind of
goodness, I'm
thing.
getting so many roses this episode. I never get compliments.
Tabs, you're so
on this stuff.
smart.
Wow. It's always Sarah's so like smart and she does all this work, and Leah's so funny, and there's like nothing.
Tabby's the middle
crickets.
child.
That is the
Literally
most
forgotten
middle child
again.
thing I've ever
Literally.
heard.
We're
Literally.
stereotypes. No, Tabby
But-
has really good thoughts.
Thank you.
You're dropping some bombs. I like it.
I'm also a middle child, so I feel that too. Like,
Thank you.
I have friends that message me to be like, "Oh my god, I love your podcast. David's so funny."
Literally. No, seriously.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, I run the episodes and nothing crickets. There's
I know
silence.
it's not
Like
what
everyone's like, ooh.
Silence.
At the school, we run into two students having a heated fight, and David and I are going to dramatically act this out for you.
Thank you.
Ooh, I'm excited.
We should put on American accents too, probably.
Come back here. No, I'm joking. I don't know if I can do that. Come back here.
No.
Okay.
Just try to commit. Just try to commit.
Come back here. We're not finished. You don't care anymore. Is that it?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I feel.
Then tell me you don't love me. Say it.
Will that help? Is that what you need to hear? I don't. Now let me go.
No, a person doesn't just wake up one day and stop loving someone. Love is forever. And scene.
And the Oscar goes to
Tony.
Thank you
That
so
was
much.
so good, you guys.
Thank you so
wow.
much. I really just went
Yeah.
into character.
Highly
there and
entertaining.
Started
Yeah.
sweating. Just immediately started sweating. Don't know
I know,
why.
It was
it's so
the
hard
American
to channel
accent.
Americans.
The American
It's a lot of
accent was
work.
like coming in and out there, but you know, it was pretty good
We'll look
when you
past
committed.
it.
Do you know what, Tabs? How about you fucking firing your Irish accent and see how that goes? Huh? Yeah, I didn't think so.
Don't even ask us. We're gonna sound like David Boreanaz.
Sarah, stop with
Oh,
the
it's-
spoilers.
Sorry, my bad.
There's certain parts of Ireland that can't do the Northern Irish accent, so it's like an American even trying to get anywhere in the island.
I can't do a southern accent, like a southern Irish accent.
What's
Not
the
like a southern, like
difference?
Piper, no.
Tsunami.
Buddhism.
Which one is the one that the girls from H2O have?
They're Australian.
That's Australian.
Oh, Australian.
Well,
They're like
Australia. Zine.
No.
Cleo.
Nar.
Cleo.
Nar why?
Why?
In this last episode, when I discovered that sometimes I can do Jennifer Coolidge, and it was just like,
oh
Oh,
my
Oh, I
god.
love
that was-
Jennifer Coolidge. I love a Jennifer
oh my
Coolidge.
gosh.
Yeah.
And we were
Wow.
like, wow. Like,
that
you're
makes
a
me want a hot dog
slayer.
real bad. I'm taking the dog, dumbass.
I'm taking the
Good.
dog.
Leah's turns into
Dumbass.
Sid the Sloth.
Yeah. They do this every year.
What's that from?
Wow.
Why?
Ice Age.
Uncle Fungus.
Yeah.
Uncle Fungus. They do
What's
this
that from?
every year.
You guys
Ice
have never
Age.
seen Ice Age?
Oh,
We
I haven't
talked
seen
about this
Oh,
that.
last
yeah.
time. We
Yeah,
talked about
yeah,
this
yeah.
last time, and you said you were
You
gonna watch
have
it.
to. It's
you
so
have to
Oh,
watch
sorry.
it.
good.
Tony didn't watch
Sid's the
cartoons.
best.
Tony's childhood was watching horror films, not children's films.
It's so funny, and it's not just a children's film. Like, there's a lot of like adult
It's
jokes
so
in there.
funny.
It's really, really
Yeah.
funny. You'd enjoy
oh,
it.
but
Well, that's
the
like-
best kids films have
Right.
jokes for both.
It's for everybody.
yeah.
Like Shrek.
Yeah. Shrek is
Please keep up on the grass, shine your shoes, wipe your face.
I do like Bug's Life, even though I saw Ants before
I
it,
do
so
love
Bug's
Bug's
Life
Life.
Yo, Mr. Early Bird. How about a nice juicy worm on a stick?
I love the
I
lady
love
back.
I'm a
it.
beautiful
so funny.
butterfly.
I'm a beautiful butterfly. After the credits, Buffy stumbles upon this couple and she manages to stop the guy right before he shoots his girlfriend.
Are we
She
only
just-
at the credits?
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll still be there if you don't let me get past it.
I did that on purpose.
So she disarms the guy, but I love the way she disarms him and he flips like 50 times or
Yeah,
something
that was
before
really
he hits
cool.
the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love
It's been a while since we've seen a really good stunt. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. The students have no memory of fighting or there being a gun. And when he asks what happened, Buffy says, "You just went OJ on your girlfriend."
Nice
Which
reference to the OJ.
I thought that was such a great reference.
Sometimes I feel like those are risky references in the time because you don't think anyone's going to remember it, but it's like still very relevant.
everyone knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have bad news. I have to go.
Okay.
Yeah, Tabby
Oh,
has to
No,
go.
I'm
Here, hang on.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's been
It's okay.
fun.
Tabby
We'll
has to go to
probably
work,
still be
so
here when you
we're
get
gonna say
back.
goodbye.
No.
For real.
Yeah,
I'm only there for like an hour and a half. I'll come back you guys like halfway through the episode.
yeah, if we're still doing
Yeah.
it, just tell us. We'll let you back in.
Bye, bitch.
So then we cut to Snyder's office. He's looking for a way to blame this all on Buffy, as he always is. I kind of love their dynamic of him just absolutely fucking hating her just because he's like, I've seen your wreck. And I remember the episode when he literally just, because I remember asking you, Tony, is he like a big bad? No, and you're like, no, he just hates kids. And like, his first day was like, I've seen your record, I'll keep a close eye on you. And it's been like that ever since. I really like that has been like that ever since. Anyway, but Buffy's like, nah, you should be thanking me. He's like, thank you for what? All you do is incite violence, mayhem, and chaos. And he gets a call that a student, Billy Crandall, has chained himself to a vending machine. Pathetic little low-life vegan, he tells Buffy. So which one of you's a vegan? There's got to be a vegan between one of you.
No, none of us are vegan. God
just
made
bad
animals for us to
Christians.
eat.
And they're married. They love that meat.
Yeah.
Oh, you dirty
Absolutely.
bitch. And it's very interesting. There's an interesting thing about Snyder. He is identical to Tony and I's principal in
Yeah.
school.
Really?
Yeah.
I-
the double of them.
It is
He hated
mad.
kids too.
No, he was amazing. But imagine Snyder's like, if Snyder was in a
A
daytime
leprechaun
soap
kind
opera.
of looking guy.
Yeah, but if Snyder was in a daytime soap opera, it would be his Irish twin brother, the opposite of him. He's really lovely, really kind,
Yeah.
very nice.
Oh,
That was-
okay, gotcha.
do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he shows up in the middle of it. He looks,
But he was very
What's that
scary.
like, guys? Having a healthy relationship with a really good principal.
It was class. Actually, he was so nice. He was so frightening.
Yeah. He was scary when he had to shout because his face went beetroot. Like,
He looked
And-
ferocious.
yeah.
He had blood
and
pressure issues.
Yeah,
He was
definitely.
just able to shout so loud. But he actually, I think we talked about this the last time we talked about him. He has a holiday home like next to where my aunt has a holiday home in Spain.
Oh yeah.
So it's like,
Oh, that's a weird coincidence.
so my mum and dad always like would have been very, very friendly with, because he would have been called Seamus. Like our parents would have been on first name terms
Yeah.
with him. Like his name's Seamus.
Such a stereotypically Irish name as well.
Yeah.
Seamus. And there's a little part in this scene that I thought was telling whenever the yearbook pops out randomly in the year of 1955, which is going to be not Schrodinger's. What do we always call Chekhov's?
Chekhov's yearbook.
I love it though.
When I wrote about this kind of scene, I wrote that the yearbook paranormal activities itself from the shelf because I love using paranormal activity as like a verb.
Adverb.
No, it does though. It just like falls.
Because I have a lot of crazy paranormal activity experiences where I'll be like, wake up like flying around the room or like with scratches all over myself.
Wait,
and-
really?
Oh
That's
no!
terrifying.
Actually, we should just have a little chat sometime, and Tony should tell. There's some incredible stories about Tony's YWAM
Yeah.
days, and
Well, very briefly, because you will get this because you're from that kind of world. I like when I became like a born again Christian, I prayed for like the gift of discernment because I really wanted to be able to see demons, and God was like, okay.
Oh shoot.
And then I was like, "Oh, you did that.
You're like, wow, can you take it back? I actually really don't want that.
no takesy backsies. Yeah, that's what we get. Nope.
I'm giving you a gift. You're gonna take it. It's gotten. Wow, that's crazy.
I loved it actually. Though it was brilliant.
Of the one prayer that got answered, Tony.
Right.
He's like, can't make you straight, but I can help you see the legions of hell.
He's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, well, that one I can do.
So David and I had been talking about in the last few episodes how Giles and Willow, we felt like they didn't really have a context to be together, like Romeo and Juliet.
Heaven forbid.
Outside of Buffy, and literally the last few episodes have been like pairing them up, I think, to kind of start building their really quite nice relationship.
It's really interesting
Yeah.
too, because I noticed that when Giles is kind of like out of commission, Willow steps in as the leader. And it's been really
Yeah.
interesting to kind of see her kind of stepping into this role.
I mean, if we want to talk about safeguarding, at one point Willow's literally teaching the class.
I mean, okay, has that ever happened? Like, do you guys know of anything like that? Because I don't know that that would actually
took-
happen in the States.
I used to
It
take
wouldn't.
choir.
Well, it wouldn't be able to because it's legally you wouldn't be able to. You need to have.
Yeah, like,
you need to have an
crazy.
adult in the room.
That's
they
just
can
one of
get
those
fired. Yeah.
suspend disbelief just for the episode, but that would never happen in
Yeah.
real life.
But also,
In that
I don't know how
universe.
it was in the '90s. Maybe it was different in the '90s.
No, you definitely weren't allowed to just teach your class.
Well, this kind of comes up later in the episode, but I'll share my 2 cents now since we're talking about it. Like, whenever the Commissioner Gordon, speaks
Yeah.
to Snyder,
Little
and he's,
Batman
Batman's
and he's
coming
like,
to Sunnydale.
yeah, and he's like, well, we were told you could handle this job. It kind of gave me the idea that there's probably not a lot of people like signing up for jobs in Sunnydale, so that's why realistically,
Yeah.
and as this episode and the last episode has shown, we're up to like 5 faculty members of Sunnydale that have been killed now. So
Yeah.
there's probably not a lot of people on the substitute list like dying
Left.
for a job. And Willow is the smartest in the school.
Yeah.
But
Still, though, don't think you should have the pupils teaching the other pupils. But
You also
but I'm
probably
well
shouldn't have the
into-
teachers dating the students either, but you know, Sunnydale.
Yeah, Can't wish for
Fair.
everything.
at least if someone dated Willow, they'd be the same age. So that's
Yeah, true.
so Giles stops by Willow's computer class to see how she's doing, and she's all chuffed that she made the class laugh. I love this little scene. It was so cute.
My husband hates it because he thinks that's not actually a real joke because he's a computer. He's like, that means it makes no sense.
Oh my.
If you find binary clusters a big hoot.
Yeah, right. I can't
Uh,
watch any computer movies, anything with him. I'm like, shh, let me suspend my disbelief here.
But did you notice there's a list of people's names on the board here in detention, and one of them is Tara, which I thought was kind of cute.
Oh,
my
I
gosh,
didn't
I've never
notice
seen
That's
that.
cool.
Yeah.
Nice spot.
Willow says she's been rifling through Jenny's computer and reading her files on paganism and magic. Like she's really interested.
I
in
like the little like hints we get. We're like, oh, the curse.
Mm-hmm.
it. Yep. I'm like, is she gonna find it? Although
Oh, the curse. Yeah.
Dave's like, what are we talking about?
I guess Angel did just destroy the monitor and not the actual computer. If she was still able to like,
Unless it was a
Get files.
Macintosh, because the computer would be in the monitor. So I guess it depends what type of
Yeah.
computer they're using.
it
But if she's
depends,
able to
you
find
know.
all the files from that computer that was destroyed, then that means it's probably still on there.
Yeah, the program Translator Pro should still be on there.
Yeah, exactly.
right.
Yeah.
Translator Pro.
And this is where Willow gives Giles the rose quartz that she's found in Jenny's drawer, saying that she'd want him to have it. I did kind of like this kind of moment between them.
It was
It
lovely.
was very.
But
it
was
was
it not
touching.
a? But the rose quartz not? Was it not a protection thing? Did she say
Well,
that at the
rose
start? Like
quartz-
this is a protection.
I'm not gay. I wouldn't know. So this is Tony's arena right here.
Wow, homophobe. Rose quartz properties kind of include like emotional healing and fostering
Yeah.
harmonious relationships and forgiveness,
Hmm.
which are obviously
Okay.
big themes in this episode. So it's a
That's
bit
also
of
why like a lot of people would carry rose quartz with them because
Okay.
yeah. Also, Rose Quartz is a great drag name.
Yes,
It's, good name.
like,
It's actually
that
just a
actually
good
would.
name. Just a good name.
Yeah.
Rose quartz.
In class later that day, Buffy falls asleep and dreams about events that take place in the same classroom, but in 1955. And she overhears a male student and a female teacher are having an affair. I love that she's just sitting there, like taking it all in.
Her
As if
face
it's
is
like,
like,
"Oh."
what is happening here?
Buffy is just forever
Yeah.
like clueless. Like she just kind of is like things are happening around her and she's just kind of like trying to figure out what's going on.
It's that like the Tim the Toolman Taylor noise, you know, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Scooby Doo.
But like I
Yeah.
like how she like her like eyebrows come together. She's like, hang on, wait, they're in a relationship and that's a teacher.
when she snaps out of her daydream and the teacher's writing on the board and the students obviously start laughing because he's wrote on the board, "Don't walk away from me, bitch." That teacher is Daddy.
Oh, Daddy.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, where has this teacher been, bro?
The actress who plays Grace, I don't know, we talk about Babe all the time. She's the voice actress for Ma in Babe.
Oh.
No
Yeah.
way.
Yeah,
Oh,
she's
that is
also
cool.
what else is she in? I have it like written down here. She's like The Secret Life of Pets too, apparently. She's in Daredevil 24. And where was the other? Oh, she's married to Patton Oswalt.
Who's Patton?
No, that's Meredith Salinger.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Patton Oswalt plays the voice is Remy and Remy the Rat in Ratatouille.
I love Remy.
Yeah.
I love Patton. He's also in Agents of Shield.
He is such a good actor.
Yeah.
He's-
When Buffy says something weird is going on, Xander says, "Isn't that our school motto?" I
True.
love the line
He's not
Xander
wrong.
says when he's like, "I don't want to poo-poo your Wiggins."
He
I
has
just
some
thought
really
that was
good
so funny.
lines. I really enjoyed Xander this episode, actually, which has been really nice
Yeah.
because that's not always the case in season 2.
That's not always the case, period.
Generally, I find like Marty's episodes have been make Xander way more likable to me.
Because you don't have
Yeah,
it's
Joss
probably-
projecting.
Well, yeah, that's it. When they get to Xander's locker, giant mad monster arm comes out and grabs him and keeps like trying to pull him in, and I love this
It's
kind
Oz.
of like
Oz is hiding in his locker.
yeah. I mean, the arm's actually probably too long.
Yeah,
to be Oz.
that's
It's
true.
like a little baby
Oz
doll
is
arm.
too short. He's like can't
Yeah.
fit in.
In the library, Willow has yet another Adidas backpack. I don't know if anyone else has been keeping up with this, but this is my
So
new
many backpacks.
thing that I've spotted. She just has so many different. I said Adidas, but I did it for the sake of saying it for Americans.
Yeah,
we
can
say
you say it right
Adidas.
for us? Like, thank you. Who the
Adidas.
fuck are you talking to? He's Adidas.
How do you guys say it?
Adidas.
Adidas.
Oh, that sounds weird.
No, and I tell you
Adidas.
why we're right and you're wrong, right? Because it's named
Because-
after the guy who's called Adi Dazzler, and that's what he invented the trainer. So it's Adi Daz is a shortened version.
But
so
it's
it is
like
actually
okay, but it's like
Adidas.
you know,
Adidas.
GIF. GIF was originally supposed to be called GIF, but then everyone just started calling it GIF. So should we call it GIF? Because that doesn't sound right.
I do like when people say Jeff. I think it's funny. It makes me think about the word. Is it meme or is it mimi?
Oh, yeah.
I've never heard anyone say Mimi ever in my life.
No, 'cause
I
it
think
was a
Kathy
joke.
Hilton
It's like a
says
joke.
mimi.
You sound like you're calling your grandma.
Mimi.
Mima.
Did you like my Mimi?
I'm gay. I'm not into Mimi. Willow sees Xander with his shirt all ripped up, and she asks him if Cordelia's won another round in the broom closet. Sorry, my voice broke. In the broom.
That was funny. That was really funny.
Willow's quick with it.
I'll have you know I was just accosted by some kind of, locker monster.
Loch Ness Monster?
Locker. Monster is what he said. But it wasn't really a monster. It was like this big arm that came out of the locker, but then we opened it again, it was gone. Nothing.
Willow's like, oh, cool, a ghost. And Xander says, this is no wimpy chain rattler. This was, I'm dead as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. Giles is intrigued by the possibility of a poltergeist, so we have some bad boo on our hands. Bad boo.
Oh yeah, so I love the way Buffy said that. It was like we got some bad boo on our hands. She says it so funny. I do, or maybe I just hear it funny every time I listen to it. She's like
It's the
some
random
bad
thing.
boo on our hands.
So we have some bad boo on our hands.
So basically, Giles is saying they need to figure out what the poltergeist wants. But Giles seems distracted as he wonders who it was. Ooh.
See, okay, that's something that I really love about this episode that I had never thought about until we were doing it for our podcast is I always felt like they brushed past Giles's emotions over Jenny's death like really fast and were
Yeah.
kind of like narrowing in on Buffy and others. And I never realized that they were actually dealing with Giles's grief in this episode. And a lot like the fact that the ghost comes to Giles first. And I think there's something really interesting in that about how like Giles is trying to work through forgiveness and all that stuff as well. I just think it's so interesting.
I think it actually has. It's a bit of like a longer payoff because obviously when we see in Amends when Angel shows up to Giles's house and Giles goes and gets the crossbow and stuff, I think that kind of then cements. I think for me like that long period of like he's not just over over this, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
Giles
yeah.
definitely is the suffer in silence type.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's so gung ho about. Obviously, as we get through the episode, he's very gung ho about this being Jenny, almost like out of a desperation to
Yes,
not
it's
move
absolutely
past it.
desperation.
Mm.
Yeah. The
Like Buffy's
actress
in hospital.
which
Buffy?
oh yeah, I love that episode. The actress who plays Miss Frank is Littlefoot's grandmother in Land Before Time.
No.
Oh, David's gonna love
Whoa.
this. By the way, when you were gone, Sarah told us that the actress that plays the teacher, Grace Newman, is Patton Oswalt's wife.
Yeah.
No way.
And I
love
messed it up.
Patton
This
Oswalt.
actress right here is the one who plays Ma in Babe, not the other one. But yeah, the other actress is Patton Oswalt's wife, which is crazy.
That's cool. I
Yeah,
love Patton
Meredith
Oswalt.
Salinger.
He's
I
so
know, me
nice.
too.
So yes, later that night, George, janitor, meets Miss Frank, a teacher, in the hallway as she's leaving after working late, and we hear that little dialogue of like, "Oh, you working late tonight, Miss Frank?" And then we cut. She asks him if George is his name, implying that they don't really know each other.
Mm-hmm.
A moment later,
Yeah.
the two begin a lover's quarrel, each of them obviously possessed by the spirit. This confused me a little bit because the first one, this really made me go like, oh, I was a bit confused with this bit, and that was
Yeah.
great. I loved it.
Mhm.
Those two actors were amazing.
I think that's why they made a real point of her asking his name, because then you're meant to feel jarred by, like, she obviously doesn't know him, and then all of a sudden they're having this lovers quarrel to kind of reinforce.
Well,
the
and
fact
it's such a good concept because obviously it's like with the Hellmouth and everything, it's like it would make sense that there is some sort of like haunting spirits around this freaking school because there's so much that freaking happens there.
So when the spirit causes Miss Frank to say that she doesn't love him, a gun appears in George's hand as they repeat the same dialogue from the start,
No.
except this time he shoots her and she falls over a balcony. So
Poor
this
Miss
is something
Frank.
that I thought would be super
I
fun
know,
for the
poor
actors.
Frankie.
Did you do drama in
Ma!
school?
Baram you.
They
Your
just start
sh-
doing
your
that.
sheep, your fleece, your clan be
Yeah.
true. I watched that so much as a kid.
But I just thought it was quite interesting that as actors, like, because then you have these almost four times we hear that script, or three times? The first time that
Yeah.
Buffy runs in, the second time with Miss Frank who gets shot, and then the third
I
time with
think it's
Angel and
3
Buffy.
times. Yeah.
Yeah.
That must be so interesting to see how each actor delivers those lines, especially
have to
as
kinda
Sarah
do it
Michelle has to be a
similarly.
fella. Yes, you need to
Yeah.
have the same energy and the same
Yeah.
hurt, I think, because actually, interestingly, everyone who plays James seems to have that real panicked hurt thing. Even when Buffy does it, it's so, I know I'm jumping ahead, but whenever she delivers those lines, it feels so like visceral. I thought it was brilliant. I just thought it would be
Yeah.
really interesting. It's like somebody giving you like a song to do, and then me having to go at it, and then you having to go at it, and Tony having to go at it, and then you having to go at it, and it'd be like
Yeah.
Well,
seeing
and
how
how they
people
did
deliver.
the scene between Sarah Michelle Gellar and David Boreanaz. I'm sure Tony probably wrote this down. I'm totally stealing his thunder. But they actually had the two actors, Grace and James, acted out first, and Sarah Michelle Gellar and David Boreanaz watched it, and then they mirrored their performance after it. So they literally were. That's why it works so well cutting back.
That's
and
so
forth.
impressive. That's such a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
They filmed that, I think, for quite a while, because I think there's kind of like those famous
Yeah, the
outtakes and
dailies.
bloopers where like
Yeah.
Sarah Michelle Gellar's like actually crying because she's like exhausted.
She's exhausted, and
from-
David Boreanaz comes and like comforts her, and it's like the
Yeah.
cutest thing. That's my favorite. I love it.
Yeah.
Are they actually mates in real life?
They're
Yeah.
really good friends. Yeah.
Oh, that's so nice.
They-
Sometimes I get
Their
too
families
scared to
go on
ask them
vacations
this.
together. It's really cute.
Oh my god, that's so lovely. That's the weirdest thing in the acting world. Is like, imagine you're Freddie
I
Prinze, David Boreanaz,
know.
standers on the beach, and like, he's kissed my wife loads.
Yeah. Yeah. And they like love it too. They
but,
talk about
but
how
not
they-
well.
Yeah, their kissing is terrible. Have you talked about their early kisses anyway? Shocking. Giles, who's reading in his office, hears a woman's voice saying, "I need you." Is that Jenny's voice that we hear as well? Thinking it may be Jenny's ghost, he goes to investigate. He sees George shoot Miss Frank and tackles him. The gun evaporates. Again, the guy has no memory of what happened. And this makes Miss Frank the 5th Sunnydale teacher to be killed so far. It's only been 2 seasons. Fewer teachers are killed in Hogwarts than there are in Sunnydale at the whole of.
Yeah, bro. It's actually insane how many people are wannabe teachers here.
That's rough.
Meanwhile, Angel, Spike, and Drusilla have taken up residence at the Crawford Street mansion. Drusilla loves it, obviously, because she's fucking mental bitch. And sorry, she's a color mental bitch. But I love that Spike is like big windows, lovely gardens. It'll be perfect when we want the sunlight to kill us.
Yeah.
He's such a
It's
hater,
so
and I
good.
love it. It's so
Yeah.
justified, honestly.
Spike is just the like perpetual pessimist. I love it so much.
This is the first episode where I realized I know that Spike is important later on, but this is the first episode where I was like, okay, you're being written well now. You're actually good. You're doing the thing that Drusilla's not doing. That's you're being funny but conniving and dark and really evil.
He's so good.
I think it's because we're also seeing him be kind of a victim of Angelus as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's more depth, and he also isn't delivering. His character has been low, and his coming up, you can feel that in his acting. Like he is getting stronger even in his delivery. Whereas again, Drusilla's all very one note. She's just at one point the camera pans past her and she's like, "Oh, I don't know," and she's going, "Oh," she's just doing this with her hands, and I'm like, "But what? I don't understand what your character is trying to do here. I never fully believed, and this is what we always
She's
talk
a
about.
prop,
Tony.
She's quirky.
Yeah, that's it. She
And
just
his
felt like she's
best
like
Mr. Lunt voice.
Spike.
Spike. Spike.
Spike.
Spike.
Right, boy. It's like we have this presenter over here called Stacey Dooley, and that's like her voice is exactly the same as Drusilla's.
Yeah.
Really? There's someone in real life that does? Ooh, I could not.
My only other note about this scene was that like Angel is passing the time taunting Spike and flirting with Drusilla, and I'm just like, why does Spike even fucking bother with Drusilla? She's so fucking shit.
Because he
reminds me of one of your exes.
loves her.
Because he loves
But
bitch.
he could just have sex with anyone he wants. I can't imagine Drusilla being good in bed. She'd be like, oh yeah, oh, just like that.
I feel like she'd just lay there. I don't feel like she would do anything. You know?
The next day, the Scoobies and Giles discuss the killing in the library, and Willow is wearing yet another one of her backpacks, but she's back to the big yellow smiley face one, which I love that big fluffy smiley face. Giles is convinced that it's Jenny that's haunting the school, but Willow, Xander, and Buffy disagree with him. Giles tells him he always encourages them to challenge him, except in this instance when he is clearly right and they are clearly wrong.
Can we just bookmark this and save this for later? Because this is real rich coming from where we've been at in season 7. He's like, you must never be cowed by authority. I was like, oh.
So the Scoobies go to Willow's classroom. Using the knowledge that they have about the shootings, Willow learns that in 1955, on the eve of Sadie Hawkins' dance, student James Stanley shot his teacher, Grace Newman. Solid, old school 50s names, James Stanley and Grace Newman. Just really good 50s names, sorry. Student James Stanley shot his teacher, Grace Newman, and then himself after she tried to break off the affair. Willow feels kind of bad for them. Buffy says, I feel sorry for her, not him. He's a murderer and he should pay for it. Willow asks, with his life. I really love Willow in this scene. She's really gently coaxing her friend down from the pits of like rage and just like, and you know, there's nothing worse than like whenever your friend is in the wrong and you know, and you're trying to help them back from the wrong and you're trying to do it without them getting pissed off at you. So nuanced. I really loved how they put all of this together in this scene. So she asked with his life.
But can I quickly interject here?
Please.
Like, see this episode, and you might think I'm stupid for thinking this. I didn't really get until this rewatch that this was about Buffy's anger at herself.
Oh, really?
I just always took it, maybe because I was watching it younger, that she was just angry about, she was more raging about like how things went with Angel. But I never really got that this was like a self-forgiveness thing. So
Interesting.
and this has been always my favorite episode. So it felt like it even took on an even deeper role when
really
I
cool.
realized, like as an adult, it was like, oh, she's forgiven herself, and it really like, or she's angry at herself, not at Angel
Mm-hmm.
necessarily, and because she blames herself. But I never that didn't really occur to me when I was younger. It was just something that maybe it's more baked into the performance as an adult, maybe that
Yeah.
or maybe because I've been through things where I can kind of relate. I just, it was like watching it with completely new eyes, which I really, because she is so raging.
Watching old TV shows that I would have watched loads of times since being married, and like a husband or wife dies or something, hits me way, way harder
Yeah.
than before I was
Yep.
married. And that's even like not before I was with Kira. I just mean even there's something about a commitment or something. And sorry, but like I just think, yeah, I just thought it was like,
No, I totally know what you mean, because ever since I got my dogs, I find it really hard to watch anything where any animal gets hurt. Like I watched
Mhm.
Sandman today, and that crow got shot in the first episode, and it was his wee crow friend. And even though it's so
Mhm.
stupid, I just was like, I really struggle with watching things where it's like, I think I was texting you, and I was just like, nearly every text for the first 5 minutes was
I'm
like, this
crying.
animal got killed, this animal got killed, this animal
I'm
got
crying
killed.
again.
Have you guys ever seen Game of Thrones?
Yeah,
Never heard of it.
Little show. You might not know it.
Never heard of it.
they filmed it in our country.
They literally filmed it here. Yeah.
One of the things watching it is the amount of horses that die in that show, and it's like out of nowhere.
Do you know they did die in real life? They just killed.
No, they
Wait, no,
did
did they
not.
really?
Yeah, no, they did. They chopped their legs off and
No,
everything.
they did not. Oh
You
my
guys are the
God.
worst. I was like, no, there's
No.
supposed to be something against that, but maybe Ireland isn't as strict. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know your
Literally,
guys'
no, they got-
politics.
They really killed the dragon.
Yeah.
Hey, Tony, did you know that this episode's about self-forgiveness?
Well, I did towards the end.
So glad you got that.
I didn't, but I forgive myself. So Sander comments that the quality of Mercy is not Buffy. I didn't really get that line.
It's a Merchant of Venice. It's a
Oh, the
Shakespeare.
quality of Mercy is not Buffy. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
too stupid to get it. Willow thinks she can figure out a way to communicate with him to find out what he wants, prompting Buffy to ask, who cares what he wants? We need to shut him down before some other innocent guy goes and kills some poor nice girl and then blows his brains out all over the music room wall. That's what we used to do in music room.
And then Xander's like, who's hungry?
Yeah. This episode is just so brilliant because it is so easy to miss the point because of the roles. You're expecting Buffy to be inhabited by Grace and then James to be Angel or Angelus. But then the roles are reversed and you're thinking Buffy's angry at Angel the entire time. So, her being inhabited by James means that she needs to forgive Angel for what happened. But the idea, like all of this, it makes so much sense when you realize that she's angry at herself, but it also works
Yeah.
with her being angry at Angel too. Like it's just brilliantly written and it's really fun to
Mhm.
watch.
And I
Yeah.
think too, there's an element of like watching this when I was younger, having not been in a relationship and
Yeah.
understanding the dynamics when something like that happens. Like when you sleep, like the amount of guys I've slept with who turned evil afterwards is like everyone. So, but when I watched this, I was probably more like 13, 14, and not really getting that nuance. So that's why I'm kind of like I love doing this rewatch because it's like even though I have watched it as an adult, but watching it, I guess Sarah, like you, with an analytical mind,
Yeah.
I'm like,
It's
oh, okay,
different.
this is
Not like you,
actually
Leah, with your
different.
vibes.
Yeah,
no, with
literally.
an analytical
They're like,
mind.
not you, like you dumbass.
Yeah, not like you silly dick.
I'm like, I'll just sit in the corner. Yeah, I'm like, wait, what episode are we on?
Every 5 minutes, Lee's like, someone died? Oh my God.
I'm like, wait,
love-
what? The horses died?
Tony, can I, just before you go on, do you remember we used to do this? Tony and I will come up with little like verbal tics that we just can't not repeat. You know, like having a song in your head.
Why
did you
say?
Yes, there's
It's because Leah just
What?
Leah, you just literally what do you call that? Give us a vocal stem kind of memory. 'Cause
Oh,
you're like,
yeah.
what? Who just died? And we used to do this thing like, what? Why did you say this?
Yeah,
Which is not funny at all, but to
No.
us,
I have no idea
That's
why,
an
but it
intro.
became this like we just couldn't stop it. We were so annoying. Anyway, Sander,
Yeah, we really
Sander,
were.
Cordy, Willow, and Buffy go to the school cafeteria for lunch.
I hope you guys aren't going to the Sadie Hawkins dance tonight because I'm organizing a boycott. Do you realize that the girls have to ask the guys and pay and everything? I mean, whose genius idea was that?
Obviously, some hairy-legged feminist.
Really? Well, we need to nip this thing in the bud. I mean, otherwise things are going to get really scary.
Chaos are up. Screams start when the food turns into snakes. This
That's
was gross.
horrible, honestly.
That
I
is
go to a different school.
I loved it. When Cordelia's bitten in the face by a snake and she just like screams like fuck. It's just
But I thought
so good.
Did I miss anything? Or did we get any shot of her being bitten in the face?
Yeah, we do.
Really fast.
The cutaway to reveal the snakes, the panic, the screaming. Cordelia sits in the back of an ambulance. Perfect. Now I'm going to be scarred and swollen.
Why didn't it just kill me?
I love Cordelia. Is my favorite character in this whole TV show by far. I bet she goes through the biggest like changes. Like even in this first couple of
Yeah.
seasons, she's already grown so much compared to the rest of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we can't say too much about that.
I'm trying not to say any spoilers.
I know, don't.
I love
Tony's
Tony's
like
like, okay,
glaring
no,
at me.
thank you. Oh, then you've been very good, Tony. You haven't given me any spoilers on Cordelia.
I know it's been me. I'm sorry.
No, I mean up any other. I always talk about how much I love Cordelia, and Tony's never.
It's because I'm hoping that I can get David to do
Do
an Angel
Angel?
podcast after we do
Oh,
Buffy.
gotcha. Good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck.
So outside, Principal Snyder is discussing the situation with Police Chief Bob, and this is when we get a big reveal that Snyder knows about the Hellmouth.
Of course he does. He's so smart. He's just so cool.
Leah's like, he's so hot and cute and smart, and I love him.
You guys just don't get Snyder the way I do.
Yeah. She's like, I can fix him.
Bob, the police chief, tells him that the city council expects Snyder to be able to handle the situation and threatens him with telling the mayor. And I like that this is planting the seeds for season 3.
Yeah, it's so good.
Who's he telling?
The
mayor.
The Myrrh.
The
mayor.
Frankincense
The
and
mayor.
myrrh.
The mayor.
Mayor.
What do you call
Yeah,
the guy
mayor,
that
thank
runs
you.
the city?
Mayor.
How do you
Mayor.
see your? What do you see your reflection in?
Mayor.
What
Mirror.
did
A mayor.
Gold Frankincense and
Mer.
Myrrh.
Mayor.
all the same three
Mer,
words?
mer,
Mer, mer,
mer.
mer.
No, they're not. They're different. No, myrrh, mirror, and mayor. Oh,
No, but in our
for
accent,
you guys. Okay, yeah.
But it's our accent, yeah. So it's mer, and mer.
mer, mer, and mer.
Okay, so I don't want to hear anything about graham cracker.
Is a graham cracker digestive?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's
food.
food.
It's a cracker.
No, Tony. Is that is it a digestive biscuit?
Digestive is in a biscuit. We can't call it that. They're like, yeah, you digest it.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just ignoring them. I'm looking at you to catch up because I think you're on a delay.
It's a bit sweeter than a digestive, I think. It's more like a nice biscuit.
Oh, right, okay. Sorry, graham crackers is a different named biscuit here, and I just remember
Yeah.
when I was in America when I was a kid.
Willow devises a plan to contain the spirits. They're going to attempt an exorcism. And I love we get that line from Cordelia. She's like, are you crazy? I saw that movie. Even the priest died.
No real.
Willow's little diagram here of the triangle that they need to make. I love it. It's got like gold stars on it. It's like the word. It's such like a primary school or like elementary school like diagram of like a triangle.
It totally fits though with all of her backpacks and then all her little like color charts. She would be really organized and have all of the stickers.
So they head off to the school, but Willow gives each of them a scapula for protection. However, it's not a scapula, it's a scapular, and it's obviously been written wrong in the script.
Right.
And Marty Noxon has just ran with
She
scapula.
thinks she's so funny.
Cordelia says it smells like grandpa breath, and that's because Willow used sulfur. So this is Willow's first little foray into the magique world. Oh yeah, I love this part. They walk into the school and all the doors start slamming, and it freaks the Scoobies out.
This was cool. This is
I
very
love
cool.
that. Then we cut to black, and we're back with Drusilla being a mental bitch in the garden, and she gets a vision about like Buffy is dancing with death.
There
Oh,
are so
God.
many good like callbacks to this episode and from future episodes, even over on Angel and stuff. It's really, really good. And I really like, I didn't catch it until this rewatch that the whole like, oh, she's dancing with death. Cause I was like, what does that mean? Like, is it foreshadowing for something later? But I think that what she's talking about is the fact that Buffy's guilt is eating her up. And that if it weren't for the fact that Buffy accepted like forgiveness of herself and stuff, she probably would have continued to be inhabited by James and actually would have shot herself and died. So it's just very interesting.
I thought it was just because she was being possessed.
I also took like the kind of literal metaphor of like because of the school dance and how she
Yeah.
was going to be.
Oh, yeah. She's
go with the
dancing with
ghost.
death. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. That's cool. Look at you. So smart.
I'm so smart. Spike goes Angel into actually facing Buffy, which I love that he kind of like reverse psychologizes. Psychologized.
Psychologicalized. It's actually
Reverse
reverse psychologicalized.
Is it
Yeah,
really?
reverse
No, it's
psychologicalizes.
not.
That doesn't
No,
sound
stop
right.
believing me,
It's
Sarah.
not.
I talk shit. Stop. I'm talking nonsense the
I'm
whole time.
so
None of it's true.
naive.
Sarah is so gullible.
I'm really easy to like get. I'm like, oh, really?
Spike reverse psychologicalizes Angel into finally going to confront Buffy. While
Good.
he's basically fingering Drusilla while he's doing this as well.
You
Oh my
can't
gosh,
say
I
that.
know. It's so true. But he is. He is.
Yeah, like
Like his
Crawl-
hands
like-
are getting real
Yeah.
close there. I was like, I was
Yeah,
uncomfortable
I
and I
didn't
wasn't in the
notice.
room. There was a line that was actually cut out that was really funny. So Spike's like, big deal. He won't do anything. Our man Angel likes to talk, but he's not much with the action. All hat, no cattle. And then that's when Angel grabs Drusilla and he says, I don't know about that. And then as his fingers are going up, Drusilla says, ooh, Angel's got cattle, all right. Moo.
Ugh.
It doesn't even really make sense.
Angel's got that beef.
For someone so sexy, David Boreanaz doesn't do sexy very well when he's trying to be
No.
all. When he's just
Yeah.
being Angel, you're like, wow. But when he's being all like, oh,
Yeah.
you're just like, you're so uncool. It's so like, I don't, you
Yeah.
can't do it. I feel like he has, I don't know, in my opinion, I don't think he
No, I
quite.
see it, yeah.
Spike does it better.
He's still very green. David Boreanaz at
Yes.
this point is so early on in his acting career that there's a bit like some acting choices that are a little cringy in the earlier seasons for sure.
Yes. Back at the school, Giles is in the library trying to contact Jenny's spirit and start as Willow. He tells her to run along. Sweet transition from Door to Cordy in the locker room. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Tony's always great for putting these little transitions in. Buffy hears music coming from the music room, which is the song I Only Have Eyes For You, and sees Grace and James dancing there. James's face suddenly transforms into a big mad zombie face. Sander makes his way into the cafeteria.
It's Snakealicious in here.
So we've got Cordelia's face turns into Phantom the Opera and she screams like fuck again.
Cordy is a real good like scream queen in this episode.
Yeah.
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 But it feels like that's all she's done. Willow gets sucked into the floor and Giles rushes to save her. They tumble down the stairs.
I love them tumbling down the stairs. I just thought I love the two stunt doubles that are clearly just like
Oh,
both
yeah.
men.
Yeah.
Tumbling
I
down
missed
the
that.
stairs.
That's a kind of a staple of the earlier seasons where the stunt doubles are a little more obvious. They get a little bit better in the later seasons, but I was like, oh, nostalgia. I missed that.
Especially
Yeah.
Buffy's stunt double, like she's so broad shouldered.
She's
So it's
jacked.
just so funny
Yeah.
whenever it switches to her. It's like, oh hey.
Buffy gets a vision of James killing Grace and then killing himself as his ghost tries to scare her, screaming, "Get out!" Probably
Get
not.
out!
Willow finally convinces Giles that the spirit is not Jenny because she would never do such evil things, which is actually a great way of getting into Giles' Earth, way of convincing him there. I love that. We hear the bells tolling for midnight, of course.
I just wanted to ask, where are the bells? Is that from the actual bell tower in Sunnydale?
That's what I was wondering too. I don't think we've ever heard bells before in Sunnydale.
No. But they do have the bell tower at the school. However, there's not a bell in it, as we see in season
Later
3.
episodes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I don't think we'll ever hear them again. Oh, no, we will. There's an episode in season 4. There's Bell Tower in Sunnydale.
I wonder if it's close to the school.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah. I want a map of Sunnydale.
I
Yeah, so
oh
do
my
I.
gosh. the map would be like huge.
Yeah, there's about 90,000
Yeah,
graveyards.
between their airports
Yeah.
and
school.
the freaking zoo. And,
Yeah.
I do love though that the Sunnydale Airport is Burbank.
yeah.
Yeah. Very nostalgic.
That was our airport, David, where we lived.
I shall confront and expel all evil. I shall totally confront and expel all evil.
Out of marrow and bone.
Out of house and home, never to come here again.
Everyone lights their candle and starts chanting the spell, but the candles blow out and you hear this kind of like low rumbling, and they all run like fuck out of the school as this big massive swarm of bees chases them, and they just about make it out. And I love this group shot of them and how well timed it was that they all come from different points in the school, but they all kind of get into a line. And it just made me, the logistics of that, I wonder like if they had to rehearse that. It was very, very epic. I love that shot. And then when Buffy has to kick the doors, this is the second time in a few weeks we've seen that the Sunnydale High School fire doors are not up to code because they don't open.
That is a real hazard.
They have a lot of
honestly.
other things they need to worry about as well.
Well, clearly people are dying because of it, so maybe we need to get on that.
True.
The Scoobies regroup at Buffy's house. They agree that it is James's ghost, and Giles says that the next step is to find out what the ghost James wants to accomplish. Buffy is the one who kind of figures out that he wants forgiveness, but says he doesn't deserve it. And then Giles kind of schools Buffy on forgiveness. He says to forgive is an act of compassion. It's not done because people deserve it. It's because they need it. And then Buffy, I love this bit with Buffy and Cordelia, when Buffy's like, no, James destroyed the one person he loved the most in a moment of blind passion. And that's not something you forgive, no matter why he did what he did. And no matter if he knows now that it was wrong and selfish and stupid, it's just something he's going to have to live with. And it stomps off to the kitchen. And I love that Cordelia's just like, over-identify much?
My favorite line in the whole show was over-identify much was so good. I
Yeah.
thought that was so funny.
And that's something that like the show does so good is always have these like moments of self-awareness where it has something really
Yes.
deep, but then it undercuts it, but not in a way that like completely ruins the scene, but in a way that almost
like a wink.
enhances
They
it.
balance the comedy. Yeah.
It's like a little wink to the audience to be like, we get that.
It's almost breaking the fourth wall.
Yes, it's like they're 3.5, like they're breaking the 3.5 wall or something, or somewhere
Yeah.
in between.
Yeah.
But I feel like whenever they give, it seems to be Cordelia seems to get it a lot, that
Yes.
nod and wink to the
yes.
audience. But I've noticed when Cordelia does those little over-identify much, always works. She seems to somehow deliver it with a really nice way. But
Mhm.
whenever it's Sander, it just always feels so like it's been you've been
Yeah.
jerked out of the moment rather than just like gently taken out of the moment. I don't know why you can never. Maybe I just fucking.
Yeah, this is something we talked about before, where it's like Xander is always comments on things for the sake of
Yeah,
a
she's
joke,
just commenting
and
on
Cordelia
it.
is usually just providing commentary on like what's
Yeah.
going on.
It's the difference between being funny and trying to be funny.
Yeah, Xander's always
Mm.
trying to be funny for sure. Yeah. Also, like I do like Xander's line where he says he can't live with it, Buff. He's dead. I think that is such a good line because it's the idea of like, hey, Buffy, he is not the one in purgatory. You are. Like, he's incapable of moving forward as a vampire. Like, there's a whole meta thing too. And it's kind of like goes back to like the adolescence versus the stasis of vampires premise that the show is on. And I don't know. I just really like that. And also, like, you can't move forward unless you have self-forgiveness. Also, okay, question for you guys though. So we have this
Yes.
moment here where you clearly hear a man's voice tell Buffy, I need you, but it was a woman's voice that told Giles. Yeah. Why do you guys think that it's
I think
James
the
and
poltergeist is
Grace?
playing with them.
Okay, it's not that deep.
I think it's a bit Hellmouthy. I think
Yeah, I think it's just playing on what they want to hear, their desire.
because you don't hear the janitor hearing someone whisper noises. No other. It's only Giles and Buffy hear the whispers. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Like I need
yeah.
you, and it makes me think that I'm wondering is the poltergeist taking advantage of that?
They are both trapped, however, so I was thinking that each poltergeist was reaching out to who it felt best would represent them.
See, that's what I think.
Buffy says that. You're right. She says that at the end that James reached out to her because he felt.
And it's interesting because like when we first were watching the episode, like when we recorded it for Becoming, I totally thought that James maybe was trying to reach out to Giles first. because it felt like, oh, Giles feels a lot of the same things that I do because of Jenny's death. But Giles comes to the idea of forgiveness faster. And so James moves on to Buffy. But now watching it the second time, I'm wondering if it was Grace reaching out to Giles in the hopes that Giles could help influence Buffy to get her ready for James to be able to like impact her. Like Grace is working through Giles to help bring James to peace. So I don't know.
I had also felt like because Giles had been given the rose quartz, which is meant to
Yes.
like kind of promote
Forgiveness and-
that it was
Yes.
maybe mystically drawn to that.
Totally. I do think that's a big part of it. I don't That's the cool thing about this episode is you don't know for sure. So there's a lot of like interpretation and it's really cool.
In the kitchen, Buffy hears a man's voice saying, "I need you." Finds a flyer for the
Just like
finds a
that.
flyer for the 1955 Sadie Hawkins dance in her pocket. She heads to school where the wasps part for her to enter. Willow finds Buffy gone. Having left the poster behind, everyone rushes after Buffy, but the wasps don't move, so they can't get in to help her. Cordelia says,
I don't get it. Is she trying to be a big loner hero or something?
Although I do think it's really funny that Giles and Willow are like, oh, but like it isn't like she'll be fine. Nothing's gonna happen because there's no other guy. And it's like, bruh, but the poltergeist got to Buffy outside of the school. It can pull up any
Yep.
random guy. Like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, yeah, that's a good point." I thought it was a bit weird that the poltergeist was out of the school. I thought poltergeists were trapped in the place. Maybe that's not how poltergeists.
Well,
I've never
I
seen
think it's more
poltergeist.
like it had made its connection with Buffy, so it's because
Ah,
that's why
okay.
Giles
the poster.
Giles kind of and Giles also reaffirms to Cordelia like, oh, Buffy's not doing it because she's being a big loner hero. It's that she's under its thrall.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is where Giles explains that James is living out that night over and over and over again, hoping for a different result.
Yeah.
But because nothing changes, it's always going to end with someone getting shot. So obviously they're like, "Uh-oh, Buffy's going to shoot herself in the music room at the end of this."
They're like, oh no, wasps are in the way. We can't even try to break through.
If only I had a hoodie and some sunglasses, they can just run like fuck.
And then we get the magic mentalness of Angel appearing behind Buffy and begins to taunt her. This whole bit, I'm going to get you to take, Tony, because it's great. But there's also, I can
Oh, you guys
look
are gonna
ahead and see what
reenact
you've
it
got
for
things
us?
Too long
Dang
of a scene. Too long of a scene.
Well, unfortunately,
I know it
It's
is.
not very
It is. It is too long. Angel appears behind Buffy in the hallway and kind of explains that he's able to get into the school because wasps don't have a taste for the dead. And I love that their possessions are like out of sync. So Buffy's already like possessed, and she's talking to Angel as
Yeah.
James, and she's like, you can't just make me go away. And then Angel's like, well, yeah, actually I can. And then he gets possessed
Such a
by
dick.
yeah. So good. And this scene is so intense and it's so good. And I know I've already touched on it, like the swapping of the gender roles. Angel plays Grace to perfection. And Sarah, you've got an interesting tidbit if you want to
Oh,
put in
I get
here
to share
about
it. You sure you don't want to share it?
No, you can share it. You're the guest.
Aw, thanks. Well, I think it's really interesting because this is the scene where, or the episode where Joss Whedon was like, "Oh my gosh, David Boreanaz can play really well, like both sides, and he has such a feminine energy that he was like, I think he can handle his own show." And this like episode is what caused him to give Angel his
Were
own show.
Angel? No way. Wow.
Isn't
Okay,
that
that's
crazy?
really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, because he was playing a
Wow.
woman and he was like talking a lot about, and that's something like Leia and I, my co-host for Investigating Angel, we talk a lot about over in that podcast on Angel, is that there's something very female coded about the character of Angel that you don't often see with such what you would assume to be a hyper masculine character that's very vulnerable, and David Boreanaz being able to like tap into that feminine energy that's very emotional and vulnerable is something that I think caused Josco to go like, we can go somewhere with this, and I can really create a very interesting character.
And
So,
there's also just
yeah.
something so heartbreaking about like seeing these characters that you love together so much, then they've been pulled apart and then they're brought back together again. It's
Yeah.
just so heartbreaking seeing it because you're like, I know this isn't really them, but also like it just feels like them again, and it's just so hard.
Love is forever. I'm not afraid to use it, I swear. If I can't be with you.
Oh my god. Don't walk away from me, bitch!
I love David Boreanaz's like little like mincy run he does as Grace when he's like as if he's wearing like high heels and he like runs away from her. And I love
that's
that.
true. I never thought of
Buffy's like,
that.
"Don't walk away from me, bitch."
And he's like, like, yeah, it's very funny. Like they do such a good job of channeling that masculine and feminine energy, and it's just very fun to watch.
And because it's played so well by them, it doesn't come off in any way
No,
comic
it's not
at all.
cheesy. This
It's
could
very
totally
Oh
be
yeah,
cheesy,
it's
and it's
done
not.
well.
No, it's
Yeah.
very
My
sincere. The only thing that I have, my only gripe about this whole episode is one
Dave's like,
line,
that's
right?
beautiful and excellent, but I'm just gonna like rain all over your parade right now.
Yeah. Let me be the fourth wall breaker here. As you're all getting all
Go ahead,
caught up in this
Cordelia.
here, I fucking hate the line, "Don't walk away from me, bitch,"
Oh
because they
yeah.
That
love
is a
it.
Marty Noxon staple. That's a Marty Noxon staple. Having a gun and saying that
Yes,
exact thing.
that's it. Oh my god.
it's Scary Terry. It's Scary Terry from Rick and Morty. That's why I'm
Yes,
like,
it is.
because we were
Oh,
talking about Scary
bitch.
Terry. And, "Don't walk with me, bitch."
Yeah.
It's like but they do it in such
Oh my
a
Yeah.
god, that is
like,
so
bitch,
scary,
they-
Terry. From
It happens through two
It's-
more
yeah.
times.
that is
Oh,
so
bitch.
real. Go on, I'm gonna get you, bitch.
yeah, it's Scary Terry.
I
Well,
love Rick and Morty, and I just completely forgot about that episode. That's so
Same.
funny. Oh my gosh.
It's like, I don't want to talk about it, bitch.
this is the thing though that took me out for a wee second was because whenever they're walking away, whoever delivers that line, bitch, does that real like bitch, that real like
Yeah.
guttural sound, and even Buffy does it too.
Yeah.
And I laughed for a tiny minute because it just got Scary
Oh.
Terry Buffy.
Yep.
That's so funny.
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, of course, you never want to talk about it.
Get off my back, bitch.
Oh, my most toxic trait is the fact that I have a period, which is accurate. That's my only flaw.
Which is accurate. So yes, after Buffy and Angel have that great scene together, she pulls out the gun and she shoots Angel by mistake and he falls over the balcony. Buffy, still possessed by James's ghost, goes off to the music room where James killed himself. Angel, who's still possessed by Grace, isn't dead because obviously bullets can't kill a vampire unless they're wooden bullets and shot into the heart. He gets up and goes to the music room just in time to stop Buffy from pulling the trigger. Grace tells James that she never stopped loving him, that she knows it was an accident that the gun went off and that it wasn't his fault, and she says that she loved him with her last breath.
Aw.
And then they both tell each other that they're sorry and kiss passionately.
Aw, so sweet.
But it's so sad when they both come like aware, and then like Buffy like has like a hard time separating. And
Yeah.
she's just
Yeah.
like,
She's still
"Oh,
crying.
Angel."
She's still sobbing whenever she comes to, and he's like turns back into dickhead and jealous.
Yeah.
And pisses off like
He's
a wee
"Ugh."
panther.
Yeah.
He does a wee panther noise like "Rah!"
Yeah, but even the fact that he doesn't like immediately go back to like, oh, I'm gonna kill you or something, like it obviously it shook him as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely noticed that.
That is the thing, and obviously we go a bit further into that towards the end of the episode, but I love the idea that Angel is now having to deal with the fact that maybe his soul isn't quite as gone as what he thinks.
Yeah. It's
Mm.
not
It is.
separated.
Mm.
Because I think being able to feel that shows that there must be some sort of lingering in there, you know. I loved it. I just loved it. I loved even
It
the
was-
effects of
sorry.
like the way the spirits came out of their bodies and went up into the ceiling of the
Yeah.
music roof.
But do you know what it reminded me of though? The most scary. It reminded me of the most scary film. It reminds me of Ghost. The end of Ghost.
Yeah, when Patrick Swayze goes to heaven.
Yeah, when Patrick Swayze goes to heaven. It's very similar. That's just a weird. I just was like, I got really frightened because it reminded me of Ghost for a second. But that scene between Angel and Buffy was amazing. Actually, in the music room, that's when it got real.
My
Yeah.
mind is going like, check the music room. Check the music room. Check the fucking music room.
Cindy, the TV
is
leaking.
I also love the sadness when Buffy almost like has to double check when she's like, Angel. Before he's like,
No.
and then pushes it off.
The bit that she had to do this though. I need you to go back and see the little
Find the slobber.
that it actually was there. It's like Sarah Michelle Gellar, you have a
She
wet
loves
mouth
having a
problem.
slobbery lip.
It's just slobbery lip.
I find that whenever I watch Cruel Intentions and it gets to that scene, I find myself in the past like putting my my tongue will come out of my mouth in that moment.
When you feed a baby, you go like,
Yeah.
When you feed it baby it's like
I love how Dave's like got like he's feeding us through the camera. I was like,
no.
oh.
It works. It's the same reason why like there's just a few things I've ever humans having the inability to control their mouths only in like a few different ways. When you feed a baby something, you go with them.
Yeah.
If someone's repeating
Yeah.
something back that you said to them, and you go,
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Which
kinda
is
Well,
weird.
I don't know, Dave, I don't know if you have that when I'm listening to someone sing really well, I start to open my mouth almost like
Yeah, me too. I'll
I
go.
tend to kind of want to start singing. Like I start moving my
Yeah.
mouth the way that they're shaping their
Yeah.
mouth. And it's
Yeah.
almost
I
like I
have
can feel the music and I have to like,
When someone is crying or something, I'm like my I start to do the Florence Pugh where I'm
yeah.
like I start to feel sad with them.
That is my natural cry, and that's why God,
Really?
that
Me
used to get
too.
me in
No,
so
me
much
too.
trouble.
Your face, you could think the downturned face.
I have downturn and my bottom lip like whimpers.
Yeah, Tony cries like a baby, like an actual baby.
That's
You have
exactly
wee
me.
baby
I'm
cry.
like I can't stop my face
Oh,
from feeling sad when I
me
cry.
too.
Like
That's
Like
so
mine
sad.
drops, mine drops. Yeah.
my
Yeah.
ex used to hate me for it because he'd be like, "Stop doing that." I'm like, "I
Yeah.
can't help it."
Stop having sex with other men in front of me then.
Well,
I think we're okay
so
with that.
so Buffy debriefs with Giles in the library, and I'd love to debrief with Giles in the library.
There it is.
She says that James picked her because he could relate to her, and that she felt how sad he was. So I like that we're getting this moment now where Buffy, after being so angry at James, kind of realizes that she was angry at herself, and by feeling how sad he was, has kind of helped her. Well, not necessarily move past it, but at least brings it up to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's starting to work through it at least.
Yeah, and she
Yeah,
still doesn't understand why Grace forgive him. But I like that Giles says, "Does it matter?"
Yeah, it's such a beautiful moment.
That
And like
was so good.
I made a edit a while back for an episode in season 6 where I feel like there were a lot of parallels because this is something that Buffy deals with for the entire series is this kind of self-love and self-forgiveness. Like she's so hard on herself and the people
Mhm.
around her are so hard on her at times too. But I also like kind of felt like Buffy's guilt over Jenny and all that stuff was kind of a shield for Angel in a lot of
Yeah.
ways, like the whole give me time, like she's kind of shedding that little bit by bit with each episode that's happening. And
Yep.
obviously we're going to get to the end of season 2. And I don't know if you guys have run across this, but a common criticism that I hear from people is, oh my gosh, like why didn't Buffy just kill Angel in innocence?
As if they would be able to kill the love of their life.
Jenny dying is her fault. Teresa dying is her. All these people died. And if she had just done what she needed to do, why was she being selfish and all that stuff? And I think those people often miss the point of season 2
Yeah.
is that emotionally Buffy has to get to that point. That's what makes the finale so incredible, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Hey.
I haven't seen the finale. I'm just saying.
It's very emotional. Spoiler warning, spoiler warning.
I was talking about how a lot of people think that Buffy should have been able to get there immediately and how
Why
it's
didn't
kind
she
of a
kill
process.
him in innocence?
Yeah.
This is someone who's never been in love. You never love any harder than when you're 16 and 17.
I didn't go out with anyone when I was like, I didn't love anyone when I was 16, 17.
You loved because your one unrequited love was just so close, but yet he was so far.
Like when we were covering season 2, Leah talked about it a lot, how like with your first love kind of thing, there's such a openness that you have when you love and an innocence, and then once that's tainted, there's or like once it ends, there's no getting that fully back. Like there's a part of yourself that's always going to be guarded, you know?
You're never gonna love
So
with full
uninhibited.
trust again.
I feel totally different.
Doesn't mean you're not gonna love like differently or better or whatever. It just means that there's going to be like struggles. Whereas with your first love, you don't even know to be guarded. Like you just don't even think about it because you're
Yeah.
experiencing these emotions for the first time. Whereas when you get older, you felt the pain of heartbreak and things like that. So you're so much more reluctant to jump into love again because you know the damage that it can cause.
See, I almost feel like I have been the opposite of that, and to my detriment, to be fair. Whereas, like I've always viewed like my heartache or heartbreak as increasing my capacity to love for like the next person.
Mm-hmm.
However, I have done, so much self-work to not carry previous relationship baggage into new relationships, usually to my detriment, and then the exact same thing happens to me again.
You don't need to do that. When you do this, it implies that what you're saying is like not as important. It's like what you're saying is so true. You have worked really hard on yourself to. You were doing it. I felt like you were taking away from your hard work. You're diminishing your hard work by
Oh
doing
no,
this
I
to
think I
yourself.
meant
That's why I actually stuck to
relationship baggage.
Oh right, okay. Oh, back. You did it over the whole sentence. You literally just sat.
I
doing
just
body
did it the
rabbits
way
the whole
like
time you
when
spoke.
when Joey from Friends.
I'm sorry.
This episode explores kind of how guilt can trap a person, like often quite literally in this case. Buffy's resistance to forgiving James kind of mirrors her inability to forgive herself for sleeping with Angel and losing him.
Oh, that's what it's about.
I never really took that as serious as like she viewed herself as being responsible for killing Angel.
I actually didn't get that. I thought it was. I didn't. So I was
So
pretending
glad you
earlier
learned
on when you were talking about
something.
her own. No, well, every day's a school day.
So at the mansion, Angel is scrubbing his body, being a big fruit, saying he was violated by being infested by love.
Yeah, because he felt something.
Ugh. And then he gets the urge for a real vile kill to cleanse himself. Drusilla invites Spike out as well, but Angel makes it clear that Spike isn't welcome because he says they need to travel light since it's not long before sunrise. And he's like, try to have fun without me. So when they leave, we get this great reveal. Spike says, I will. And he stands up and kicks his fucking wheelchair across the room, revealing that he is healed. And he's obviously plotting revenge on Angel.
Right.
Yeah.
Just one thing. Did he kick the thing across the room, or did it seem like he got his foot trapped in the wheelchair as he stood up, and then he got really angry that the wheelchair trapped his foot?
We're gonna give Spike this moment. The poor guy has been beaten down enough. We're gonna say that he kicked it.
Okay, fair enough. Do you know
Yeah.
like when your headphones gets caught in the door handle?
Yeah,
And there's nothing
your
more aggravating
or
in
your
this
your
world?
sleeve catches on the door handle when you're having a really bad day or gets caught in a drawer. It's always like when you're on your last.
I'm so looking forward to Spike doing something.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
bro. You guys are in for a treat. Like it's just season 2 is so fun. Like
Yeah.
oh.
I must say,
Yeah.
you did turn this episode around on me because when I first watched it, I was like, "This is a bit shite." But then, with all of this in-depth knowledge, I now have context, and I'm now a healthy, non-toxic man.
Exactly. You're cured.
I'm cured.
Yeah. All it
It's just
took
like
was
that.
a couple women coming on your podcast.
Yep. You just needed a woman to explain it to you.
I think it's interesting that you felt brave enough to say that.
That's a good one. I like that one. But I did really love this episode, so thank you both so much. All three of you, actually. Sorry, Tabitha was here earlier on. I thought it was like, I genuinely wasn't too sure about this one, but listen to your synopsis and your ideas on it. I'm like, actually, that was a really freaking good episode. Next time I see that episode, I'll be definitely a bit more like, oh, this is a lot deeper than you think.
It's so fun to be on other people's podcasts and to hear what they
I know
have
you
to
guys are the
say and-
first ones we've ever gone on and like recapped an episode with that's not on
Yeah.
our own podcast. So this is our first too.
Well,
Yeah.
Thank you for your patience.
why don't you kind of finish up for us? Tell us where our listeners can find you, etc.
Yeah, you guys can find us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Tumblr at Becoming Buffy Podcast. And we are also, we're also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Yeah, we're pretty much everywhere you can find your podcast. But we're on season 7, so we're getting close to the end.
Is that the only podcast you do?
I do Investigating
does,
Angel.
yeah.
So there's also an Angel podcast, which you also
Drop.
can check out too. But I feel like I'm giving spoilers because we aren't there yet. But
I guess
yeah.
it's 20 years down the line. And Leah, what about you? Anything you want to announce? Any information you want to give to our audience?
Nope.
No, bitch.
No,
bitch.
Pulls out the gun.
I really am the personality hire. This is Becoming Buffy was really, I feel like Sarah's baby that we all were in the delivery room for.
We all wanted to do it at the time, but it's
No,
become my baby.
I still do want to do it. Like I love the podcast, but it would not be what it is if it wasn't for Sarah.
I love the idea though that this is Sarah's baby. This is like Sarah's held this baby in her for nearly 10
did.
months. She delivers it to the world, and everyone, and that baby comes out.
Everyone
and it's
wants
like,
Leah.
And that baby comes out and goes, I love Auntie Leah way more than I love you. I
Everyone
understand
goes,
that you
wow, she looks so much like her aunt. I don't see you at all.
Which is actually just so funny because
She has her aunt's eyes.
Sarah's daughter is very, like, her as a kid is very similar to how I was as a kid.
Yeah.
So it is just very
Brilliant.
funny.
Yeah, that's true.
And Sarah's taking it with such grace and such.
Yeah,
Candy,
she's
you're
had to
not
raise me
raging.
twice.
I know
This
my
is her
place.
second one. Yeah.
It's okay.
This is her second Leah.
She said to raise me twice is great. Okay,
Really.
shall we do our little awkward wave goodbye, Tony, and let
Yes.
these girls get on with their lives?
Yes, we'll just say goodbye. We'll just say thank you so much, everyone, for watching and listening. Please go over to our Patreon, Spotify, Apple, everything, all Bronze No Brains, wherever you can find us. If I'm feeling generous, I'll maybe drop an unedited Patreon version. If you want to listen to this for like 6 hours. But yeah. Until next time, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.